You've been hearing us talk about imperial yeast for a while now, and that's because we absolutely love the stuff. With 200 billion cells in each pitch-right pouch, we rarely need to make starters these days. While originally based out of Portland, Oregon, imperial yeast has expanded to the East Coast, meaning even more people have access to their incredible lineup of yeast, including popular strains like A07 Flagship, A38 Juice, A09 Pub, and a Brülosophy favorite, L17 Harvest. So good. Whether you brew at home or on the commercial scale, imperial yeast has what you need to make the best beer possible. You can check out all of their available strains and start your planning at imperialyeast.com. Hey everybody, this is the Brülosophy Podcast. I'm your host, Marshall Schott, and boy have we got a fun one for you today. It's been a while since you last heard a 1-minute beer review with Tim and Justin. Following Jersey's move out of state, Justin agreed to take his spot, and things were going pretty smooth until a few months ago when Justin informed us that he too was going to be moving out of state. In the following weeks, we discussed our options internally and decided, after nearly 5 years, to ditch the 1-minute beer review as we know it. Of course, we loved everything about reviewing beers submitted by listeners, especially the fact it allows us to connect with the people who make all of this possible. So we came up with a new plan. Rather than airing a single brief review per episode, we're going to occasionally dedicate entire episodes to reviewing your beers, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Now, the original plan for today was for Tim and Justin to join me here in the studio. However, Justin let us know last night that he wouldn't be able to make it, so not wanting to scrap the review episode idea, I asked Tim's and my wives if they were up to it, and they agreed, despite not being big beer drinkers. In fact, Laura, you don't really drink any beer at all, which is going to make this a lot more fun. I think, Michelle, I know you and I like to enjoy drinking wine every once in a while and kind of geeking out on that, but beer isn't necessarily your things.
Right.
Well said.
Well said, yeah. Well,
correct.
So Michelle, you have actually done some reviews in the past, I think, for fun. You did something on the show in the past before.
With Jersey's wife, Amber.
That's right. You and Amber did something. But
Correct.
Laura, you've never been on the show, and I know that you find this being kind of a little awkward, huh?
Yeah. I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, after a few beer reviews, you might get a little bit more comfortable. And I promise I'm not going to make you guys chug whole pints of these beers that people sent in. We have been sitting on these beers for a couple of months now. We have a lot to get through. I believe by last count there was 16. So this is bound to be a lot of fun. Tim, how you been doing, man?
I've been hanging in there. Yeah.
I know all of us, I think, are just getting over this cold that's been going around. So we might sound a little bit funny. For those of you who listened to last week's episode, you know that I sounded a little bit funny then, and I feel like I'm just kind of pulling out of that. So now, a couple months ago, we dropped our first average brew episode where we reviewed a number of beers made using the same parameters. This is a project that's put on by the Brew Club that we think is really, really cool. I highly recommend checking them out at thebrewclub.com. That's the BRU club.com. We'll be doing those shows quarterly, but what makes this beer review episode different is, for one, there are no parameters. So every beer will be completely different. And my favorite part, the reviewers will be going into each one blind. I will be the only one who knows anything about these beers. Unlike the old beer review segment, I will eventually reveal information about each of the beers we review, and we'll be spending time talking about each one as well. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, if you like what we're up to and you want us to keep doing it, please consider becoming a patron of Brülosophy. By committing to a small monthly pledge over at patreon.com/Brülosophy, you'll receive rewards like access to unpublished recipes, unique discounts at YakimaValleyHops.com, and an invite to a monthly live Q&A session with somebody in the brewing world. The YVH discount for this month is pretty badass. $5 off each 1-pound bag of 2021 Lupamax hops in any variety that they have in stock. If you've used Lupamax, you know why we love this stuff. It's incredible. And now you can save a wad of cash when you buy some simply by supporting us. Our Q&A livecast guest for this month, June of 2022, is the dude who committed to brewing all 99 BJCP beer styles in what he calls the Homebrew Challenge. That's Martin Keene, who beautifully documented every batch on his YouTube channel, The Homebrew Challenge, which I implore all of you to go check out if you haven't already. Now that he's completed his challenge, he regularly posts killer information videos on brewing. If you want to be a part of this session, you have to make your pledge at patreon.com patreon.com/Brülosophy by Friday, June 24th, 2022, as Martin's going to be taking questions that Saturday, June 25th. All past sessions are stored on our private Facebook page, so patrons can go back and watch whenever they like. Again, that's patreon.com/Brülosophy. Another really easy way to help support us is by using the links found at brülosophy.com/support. When you're doing your shopping online, your experience doesn't change at all, and we get a little kickback for the referral. Finally, if you wouldn't mind letting us know what you think about this show by leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcast or wherever it is you listen to podcasts, we'd really appreciate that. All right, just a couple weeks from now, the American Homebrewers Association is going to be hosting their annual Homebrew Con in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Brülosophy's Mike Neville is going to be there collecting data on some fun projects that he's been working on. So keep your eyes peeled. He's going to be at the Imperial Yeast booth at 2 p.m. Pittsburgh time, of course, on Thursday, so the first day of the conference. If you'd like to participate and experiment, just swing by the Imperial Yeast booth between about 2 and 3 o'clock that Thursday, and you can lend your palate to our brand of science. That should be a lot of fun. He's also going to have a Hop Chronicles there as well, and we're just not quite sure when he's going to be collecting data for that quite yet. Other than that, we really don't have anything else on the books, but with COVID appearing to be largely behind us, we're all excited to get back to attending more events. Having missed the last 2 hop harvests, which is my favorite thing to do in brewing and beer every year, I did leave the last couple weekends of September open, and we'll be looking into what's going on in Yakima this year. Again, should we settle on plans, it'll be announced on the show. And if you have an event you'd like us to attend, maybe give a talk at, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like I said, we're all chomping at the bit to get back to this stuff. You can email me directly with inquiries, marshall@brülosophy.com. Feedback is brought to you by Clawhammer Supply, who offer brewers some of the best stainless steel all-in-one electric brewing systems on the planet. If you're sick of filling propane tanks and burning your eyelashes off, it may be time to make the move to electric brewing, and we cannot recommend Clawhammer Supply enough. In addition to offering 120 and 240 volt systems in various sizes and at reasonable prices, Clawhammer Supply has one of the best brewing-related YouTube channels out there. I highly recommend you go subscribe to it now. Head over to clawhammersupply.com to check out all of their killer gear. All right, listener David Mann wrote in after listening to our latest Brews Views episode on beer rating websites and apps. David said, I really enjoy your podcast. Even though I'm not a brewer or home brewer, I've learned a lot about brewing listening to your podcast. Well, thanks, David. Your recent one on beer rating websites and apps brought a number of comments to mind. I primarily use Untappd to look at breweries' current tap lists and when I'm trying to find beers at retail stores. What I don't like about it is people tend to underrate lagers and more classic drinkable beers like English Dark Mild. I really hate the common one-sentence review, this beer sucks. Hey, that's great, but tell us why you think it sucks. I use Beer Advocate primarily for the forums and discussions and to record my tasting notes. I rarely use it to look at other people's reviews because I generally don't care what others might think. I like their scoring system much better because it forces me to think about the styles and the beer characteristics. Side note, I've not encountered the bashing and hostility you guys mentioned. I think Beer Advocate has tried to eliminate that as much as possible. One thing I don't do is trash a brewery. I hate that and have more respect for the brewers. If I find a truly bad beer, I just don't rate it. I probably tend to rate higher than most people because I start from the highest score and deduct points for any flaws or misses on style. So it's not unusual for me to give a high score for a Helles because it's spot on as I would for an IPA that has outstanding aroma and flavor with no flaws. Wrapping up, I found Beer Advocate to be one of great value as I try to learn more about beers. As I would try a new style for the first time, I would do the same, reading about its history and characteristics first, then review the beer. Yep, reading in my early reviews, they were pretty bad. But I think they've gotten better, and I've learned a lot. Listening to podcasts like Brülosophy, reading various resources, and using Beer Advocate as a record has been helpful. And yeah, I'm one of those guys that make you all cringe because I have a blog, Twitter, and Instagram where I like to review beers and help spread the word about local breweries and beers I find exceptional. Totally self-educated and untrained, I just enjoy great beer and respect brewers for the time and effort they put in. I'm pretty proud of the craft beer breweries down here in Georgia. Well, David, you certainly didn't make me cringe. I actually really appreciate your perspective and think it's awesome that you use those websites and apps to promote local breweries. I mean, if there's anything super good that can come out of those, in my opinion, that's exactly it. Again, those Brews Views episodes are our only outlet where we really kind of allow ourselves to just get unhinged and share our unabashed opinions on stuff. And seeing as we only have about an hour, give or take, for each episode, it's difficult to share our full thoughts on certain subjects. Yeah, I don't use those apps. I don't use those websites, but I totally get where you're coming from. Thank you so much for the email, David. If you have show feedback, you could send it to feedback@brülosophy.com or drop us a line on social media. All right, fellas and ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back from this break, we'll be dipping our toes into some listener-submitted beers. I hope you're as ready as I am. After a long brew day, the last thing I want to do is waste more time chilling wort. I've tried so many different options, and ultimately I settled on the super efficient immersion chillers made by Jaded Brewing. With the King Cobra and Hydra, I'm able to chill my entire batch of wort from boiling to just a few degrees above groundwater temperature in as little as 6 minutes. If an immersion chiller is right for your brewery, then do yourself a favor and check out all of the rad options Jaded Brewing has to offer at jadedbrewing.com. And be sure to let them know Brülosophy sent you. Have you ever thought about adding a port to your kettle but held off because you didn't feel like drilling into your gear or sending it off to have someone else do it? From the makers of the world's fastest counterflow chiller, the Exchillerator, comes the Hangover, the easiest way to add extra ports to your kettle as well as countless other options. Mount a faucet to your keg for easy portable pouring. Set up the perfect whirlpool arm. Hold a heating element in place. All of this and so much more without permanently modifying your gear. Manufactured right here in the United States, the Hangover offers brewers too many convenient solutions to list here. So head over to Exchillerator.com today to see what the Hangover can do for you. Craftmaster Growlers takes traveling with and sharing beer to a new level. Made from heavy-duty stainless steel, Craftmaster Growlers are double-wall insulated and can keep beer cold for up to 8 hours. Unlike typical growlers, Craftmaster Growlers come with a swiveling tap and fully integrated CO2 regulator cap, allowing beer to stay fresh for 2 weeks or more. The square design takes up less space and will fit in most refrigerator doors, and every Craftmaster Growler comes with a 1-year warranty. There are 64 and 128-ounce versions available over at craftmastergrowlers.com. When we first started doing the 1-minute beer reviews with Jersey and Tim, I think all of us were skeptical it'd last very long. I mean, who wants to spend the time, energy, and money to send off beers they lovingly brewed to be reviewed for 1 minute by a couple of my Miller Lite drinking friends? Well, apparently quite a few people, as we've done over 250 reviews. In fact, I think it's closer to 280 or something crazy. Wow. And today we're going to be getting to, I believe it's 16 beers or so. Now, in keeping with tradition, I will not be sharing any details about the beers until after the reviews have started, and I'll also be sharing my thoughts on everything we drink today. All right, first up is a very curious beer that I poured during the break. And Tim, what do you, just based on the way it looks, what are you thinking about this one?
Well, it looks like a foamy sour.
It's got a color to it.
It's got a color to it, and just like 4 inches of foam came out. You know, I mean, it's.
For me, it looks like dessert. I mean, it really looks like something I'd order at a restaurant for dessert, with the amount of pink tinted foam, and even the liquid itself looks like a rosé wine.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's very, very foamy. And I poured, this came in a bomber, and when I opened it, it wasn't a bottle bomb, but it was definitely a gusher. That's what we refer to when the bubbles come out of the top when you open it. Now, did you taste it yet, Tim?
I have not.
Give it a taste. You, I know, like to try to guess what the beers are, but I will say that...
Not very good at that, am I?
But I will say that you're pretty close.
Well, you said sour, and I had already tasted the foam, and it definitely felt or tasted like a sour, but at the same time I went, oh, is it maybe a cider? Because it's so fruity to me.
Yeah, it does seem a little, probably more like, I'm not getting too much sour, but it does seem more like ciderish to me.
Ciderish?
Yeah.
Cidery.
Kind of. It's almost kind of like a little bit of champagne.
To me, it looks like I just fed my goldfish and the food is floating in there.
Oh yeah,
there are floaters in there.
I've never had a beer or any.
No, I'm going back to cider now. I mean, sorry, sour.
Yeah. So it is a sour. I'll give you guys that.
I actually like it, which is
me too.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know you don't like beer. That's why I started with this one, Laura, is because I wanted to start with a bang with something that That's Laura good. Might actually appreciate.
It does taste good.
So what do you guys get off of it? I haven't tasted it yet. I've only tasted the foam because I was trying to not spill it.
I'm terrible at this. It's like a grapefruit to me.
Yeah, like a berry champagne.
Yeah, it definitely has like a champagne-ish.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the carbonation.
Maybe.
It is very highly
It's also sweet.
Yeah.
It's a little sweeter to me
it's
too.
got like a tartness.
Yeah,
A tartness.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it is a sour beer. So you guys all nailed that one. It is a sour beer. Do you get, you mentioned fruity, Michelle. Do you get any, what particular fruit do you get out of this one?
I had mentioned berry. And what kind of berry? There's a lot of berries, right? There's raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. They're also, but when they kind of sometimes taste the same. But yeah, not so much blueberry, but maybe like a red berry of some sort.
You're right. It is a red berry, probably the most popular red berry in beer,
Dang.
which is raspberry. Yeah. So Michelle's already coming out.
I'm going to be out of a job.
Swinging. I know.
Watch out, Tim.
She's going to boot you out of this one too, Timmy. This is an interesting one. So this is made by Trevor Mack. Trevor, thank you for sending it. We've got another beer from him as well that we'll do next. It is a raspberry sour that's got lactose in it, so it should have a little bit of body and sweetness. And then it's just hopped with a small amount of mosaic hops, which are very popular, kind of a trendy hop right now. But it's fermented with a really curious yeast strain. It's actually it's called Philly Sour, and if my understanding of that strain is correct, it is not a bacteria strain. Usually when you sour a beer, you're throwing a bacteria at it.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, you eat yogurt, right?
Nope.
It's basically the same bacteria. It's lactobacillus.
Laura, doesn't that sound delicious?
It sounds like a pediatrician appointment.
Yes.
Or something.
You almost said pediococcus, which is another
Oh my!
souring
I
bacteria.
guarantee you, she did not almost say that. She did
I thought I heard it too, Marshall.
She did not almost say that.
Pedia what? Yeah. So anyways, he fermented it. Based on his notes, it looks like that's all he used. So he didn't actually sour it with the bacteria. He used this yeast that has this ability to produce, I think, some lactic acid.
So why the floaties?
I think what happened was when he bottled it, it probably continued to ferment.
Oh.
And I'm just glad the bottle didn't burst. It didn't blow up. And the floaties is just because of the carbonation. When I popped it open, it pulls stuff up from the bottom of the bottle.
Got
a
it.
lot of homebrew bottles just have a little slug of crap at the bottom. And
Because wine often will do that too.
yeah,
It'll have
yeah.
sediment or whatever.
yeah, and you decant it off or whatever,
Yep.
and that's why you do that. This here, I don't think it. I mean, it clearly wasn't intended to have the floaties, but the carbonation made it such that it did. But I actually thought it tasted really good.
It was
very carbonated.
Yes.
Well,
It
and I'm
was
going to
very
have
good.
to put. I mean, I know we have how many more beers left?
About 15.
15. But I'm going to put a bet on this one being the prettiest in the glass, just from the
Oh,
pink
just you hold
hue.
on.
It was nice. I liked it, which is I was not expecting going into this.
Yeah, and no, it tasted really good. Not now to comment, it's a raspberry sour, but it was not that tart. It was almost like, to me at least, it was almost like the raspberry tartness was the tartness that I was tasting, and not necessarily the sour beer sour stuff.
Had a lot
Yeah.
The
more
gym
sour.
sock sours.
Yeah, the funky sours.
I've had those.
The
Yeah.
funky sours.
Yeah. All right. Well, feel free to keep talking about that beer. I'm going to open up this next bottle. I don't want. There's going to be little breaks because I don't want you guys to see.
Okay, we won't look.
What we're drinking here. Yeah. So
Should we cleanse our palate?
How would I
cleanse your
know?
palate?
How
Yeah.
would I know
Right.
based on what
it's
you're
a
doing?
bottle
Well,
and it has a that's it. There's a liquid in a bottle. That's all we know.
I
I'm
should
not
say
that savvy.
I should say that that Trevor Mack. This is another beer that Trevor Mack made. I'm not going to tell you the style or anything. He does really nice labels.
Oh yeah.
I think they look really good.
Yeah.
And we don't usually talk about the labels or anything when it comes to the beer
dark.
reviews like this, but yeah, kind of neat. These labels look good. This beer, quite a bit different.
Yeah.
Where's your glass,
Right here.
Michelle?
Right here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Timmy. This is going to work out well. There's that. I can tell you, Tim, that style-wise, this is one that you have had before, but it is not one you've had very many times. So I'll be curious to hear.
So I don't know much about beer, but I'm going to say it smells like a stout or one of those sort of tobacco-y, chocolatey type concoctions.
Does it smell like a
It
stout?
does.
Or does
It
it
smells
look
like it.
a stout?
Well, it smells like one.
It looks like one.
I'm wondering if you're
That's
saying.
not as dark, no.
Oh, it smells like what
It's
it
not
is.
as dark, right?
Yeah.
It's not as dark as I think it would be. But I
It's
definitely
more ambery.
Yeah, when you hold it up to a light, you can see that it's more kind of a dark amber.
tobacco.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you get anything different on the nose than you do on your palate?
Being my nose is plugged. No.
I get a stronger tobacco than I do on the palate in the nose.
I'm not getting any tobacco on the taste.
This is also
Coffee.
very highly carbonated.
Little bit of
Are you
coffee.
guys getting that?
I love the carbonation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's highly carbonated, which is I'm the opposite of
I know.
Laura.
I love
I
it.
prefer less carbonation in pretty much anything I drink. But
It's an interesting thing to think about because I love high carbonation in most of the stuff I drink that's not beer. I would take now the style of beer this is calls for a decent amount of bubble, so that it makes sense to me. But it is very carbonated.
it's also oddly, I mean, I don't know oddly, but it's smooth drinking.
Yeah, it is
too.
smooth.
I expected
I
it
get
not
that.
to be
It's
as
really good.
smooth. Yeah.
I get a little of that metallic-y kind of taste.
I wonder if that's not the carbonation because you and I have talked about this metallic thing that you
Right.
get in beer, and it's almost always more highly carbonated.
There
So
you go.
I don't know though.
I don't know either.
Could
Obviously.
I always get coffee in these kind of beers. I always feel like it's a coffee, tobacco, chocolate extravaganza.
I get a hint of chocolate, but it's not.
Not strong.
It's not much. There's actually no. This will be surprising, and you guys don't know anything about styles necessarily. I mean,
Not really.
I don't mean to diss you there, Timmy. But this actually doesn't have any roasted grains in it. at
Maybe
all.
a distant vanilla.
Sure, that makes sense. I'll tell you what it is. The style of beer is called Belgian Dark Strong Ale. It is an 8% ABV Belgian ale. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a kick. And these are made. They're obviously a Belgian style, so they're made to have more fermentation character. So Belgian ales, you're looking at a little bit of banana, a little bit of clove, maybe a blend of those two. And that's what I get. I get the phenolic kind of clovey thing, and I wonder if that's not what you're detecting
Probably.
is coffee or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
They're very similar spices. Yeah.
I like this one personally.
Yeah, the foam
Yeah, it
was
was
certainly
good.
denser than the previous beer, which I kind of like. It reminds me of the nitro stuff that I love.
Yeah, but it's completely opposite because of how incredibly carbonated
Yeah.
it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of it, babe?
I mean, unfortunately, I feel like my beer scale is whether I can swallow it or not. So I could drink it. I liked it.
Not too bad though.
No,
right?
not
It's
bad.
definitely different than a Coors Light or an IPA.
I
right?
feel like it was less intense than like one of those.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
It's
it was smoother to drink than when I drink a
Sierra
Bud
Nevada
Light
or
on the
something.
river or whatever.
Agreed.
That is a good thing, and I believe that's actually one of the things Belgian ale is known for is being very highly drinkable and having characteristics that are kind of unfamiliar to people, at least American drinkers, and it makes it just more palatable and easier to approach. I think.
And plus the alcohol content's high, so that's bonus.
And you would never guess that, right?
Right? No.
Yeah.
No, it did
No, it
not
didn't- it
come
didn't
off
seem
like
like
that.
that.
No.
You would, and that's the thing is that you don't want to taste high alcohol.
Right.
I feel it now after swallowing that last one. I feel that alcohol heat a little bit in my chest.
Maybe it'll break up my lungs or
Yeah,
mucus.
I know. God, but yeah, good beer. And the Belgians have some really good styles. Belgian Dark Strong Ale is one of those that I just absolutely
Belgian
love.
ale.
So Belgian ale as the umbrella term.
Belgian ale, good for colds.
Good, Belgian ale, good for everything.
out. Yeah.
In fact,
You're on
This
a
isn't
full
a,
float in 5 minutes.
Right.
They're Belgian Trappists. Trappist monks would basically drink these. They're big quads. It's about the same amount of alcohol, but they would sustain themselves on it when they were doing their fasting.
Oh, those. You said monks? Is that what you called them?
Yeah, I mean monk. I think so.
think that's what you said, yeah.
A Belgian monk. Yeah.
Belgian monk. Who would have known we would have gone there with this conversation?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Kind of
this is-
interesting.
This is a whole different color.
Yep. So this beer, I'm going to tell you who it came from. A local brewer named Brad Jennings. So this is the guy who dropped off that he distilled his own spirits, and it's really tasty. The stuff that I gave me that little
The
bottle.
stuff in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's sitting on the kitchen counter.
That's my favorite part about beer review day is we get our refrigerator back.
Yeah.
When it's
well,
done.
for like a month.
Yeah.
you know.
Point.
Yeah, exactly. He calls this one, I don't know what it is. He calls it Willie Pete, but he didn't leave any other information on it. And if he sent me a note with it, then
A lot less carbonated
Except Tim's are always so foamy.
based on the. Yeah, Laura has no foam. I don't know what happened, but I have
I did
about
a
the
slower
same.
pour on yours.
Oh, Timmy.
It's
My bad.
definitely golden. It's
Yeah, it's very clear.
pretty.
very clear.
It smells way good.
It's no floaties.
So I don't know anything about this other than Brad calls it Willie Pete, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, there's that pine.
Yeah, it's got some pine.
Juniper. So
Juniperish.
you think it's like
Juniper.
well, I will tell you how much
Oh,
alcohol do
wow.
you think it is?
Yeah, I couldn't drink this.
That's like a Hall's cough drop.
Yeah, it's
It's not that bad. No, it's pretty
It's just
good.
not-
Hint. It's got a hint of that
I don't
to
like
me.
any of it. I don't like the hint of it. I don't if it's like chewing on a car air freshener.
Yeah,
to me.
like a yeah. It's got a very.
I like it.
It's good.
I like it
well,
a lot.
you know, we
Yeah,
also
I do too.
clean things with pine
That's
salt
true.
and stuff, and so it's very reminiscent of cleaning house.
But when was the last time you drank pine salt?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I
No,
think
I've
it-
like wiped something with a Lysol wipe and then touched
Yeah.
my mouth and been like, "Oh wow."
Yeah.
Ooh, yuck. Yeah, I've done that too. That's
Agreed.
awful.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's smooth and
You like it, honey?
I do. It's smooth at the beginning,
Really?
and it doesn't linger on.
I think I know what it is.
It feels like a mild IPA, and I just say IPA.
Yeah,
You
'cause-
nailed it.
Yeah.
I think it's a session. I think it's a
Dang,
session
Michelle.
IPA. I
Yeah.
think it's 4.7%, so it's not even a pale ale. It's so light.
Yeah.
I bet it's a session
That's
IPA,
good.
like a
I
mild
like it.
IPA.
I see
Jimmy
that.
drank almost all.
He
of
did.
it.
I'm gonna
I'd
have
rather have a
the rest of this
sour-
Oh
bottle.
boy.
I'd rather have that
We have a whole other one too. So
previous one than this one. Different palettes.
No, it's very like clean.
Yeah.
Like a cleaning thing or a.
I don't get cleaner. I get what you're saying.
The piney. It's the pine.
I've wondered sometimes if I don't taste pine the way other people do.
you very well might not.
Yeah.
You know?
Because to me, it's a really nondescript hoppy character, which I've heard is there's this terpene in hops called myrcene, which is the primary. It's the same thing in cannabis. Actually, it's the same thing that makes it that green.
Yeah.
Smell and flavor that's just hoppy, and that's what I get in this is
Well,
it's
you
just
might
kind of
associate
hoppy.
it. You might associate it with hops.
Yeah.
Whereas
The-
we don't have that association.
It's just piney. Yeah.
The more I'm
Right.
drinking it, the hoppier it's. At least this pour is.
Could be the I tried to pull them out about an hour ago to warm up a little bit because we keep our fridges pretty cold.
Right.
But yeah, this tastes really good. Everything Brad's given me so far has been spot on. I mean, the fact he's a local brewer is pretty sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's this really good beer. I could drink. We've got another bottle of this. I'll drink that one later on.
Tim, sounds
Heck
like Tim
yeah.
could
Nice
drink it
job,
too.
Brad.
Yeah.
And opposite of that quad is that it's I get no burn. You don't taste
No.
the alcohol.
I
It's
didn't
just
taste the alcohol in the other one, but don't ever taste the alcohol. That's the problem.
You're the first person I knew that poured vodka into their White Claw. So
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's the key, by the way. If you are a White Claw drinker, and
Yeah, add vodka.
Add vodka. You don't. You
No
don't
laws.
even taste it. Yeah, no laws.
No laws.
I know because you tried it and you were like, I don't think this has alcohol
No,
in it.
and it does. It had a bunch. Well, you meant because I added the vodka.
That was the very first time I ever brought one over to your house.
and the rest was history.
Oh lordy.
Are we doing any White Claw tasting today?
That was like
No,
at
I mean,
8
we
o'clock in the
can,
morning.
I guess.
I'm so
Yeah, we
kidding.
can.
Oh yeah.
So let's see here. This next one.
Ooh, pretty label.
This is good. Yeah, I'll show you the labels. Just don't read them too much. I know. I don't even know how much people want you guys to be blind to it all, but
Well,
it is
we
kind of
don't know
fun.
I
what
feel like
we're-
our lack of knowledge helps us
Yeah.
be
We're
blind.
definitely
Just show them
blind.
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. Yeah, duh, right? You know what though? I feel like there's something about people who go into it. I mean, that's what my idea for the Jersey and Tim beer review was in the first place. Was these guys don't know anything, so they're going to come up with their own descriptions,
Yeah.
and go with what they know.
Yeah.
You know, and there's something about that I find really appealing, kind of fun. So, all right, we're going to start this next one. This was. Let's see. It's brewed by Ben Gansmer. I believe his name is Ben. He's somebody who has actually contributed to Brülosophy before in a Brew Club experiment article.
Starker.
I'm looking at the style right now. You guys would not even understand what that means, but I will say it towards the end, and I'm really curious what you guys think about this one. Chances are you've never had this style before. Not even you, Tim.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And oh yeah, it smells exactly like what it is.
Caramel.
Okay. Wow, it smells good. Man, that smells
Or
good.
like maple syrup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was just all foam on that one, but it was
That's delicious.
smooth.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is really
But it also
nice.
tastes a little strong. Like maybe not in a bad way. Like
Let me see the bottle,
in
Timmy.
a great way. Like it's that it'll kick me in the butt.
He calls it pH done.
Well, there you go. What is it like? How much? I mean, I don't know if you're going to tell us, but what the alcohol content is?
5.5%.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Huh.
14 IBU, so very, very low bitterness.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no
very
better.
good.
It's
Yeah.
good.
What do you think, babe?
Well, I was going to say almost to me, compared to other beers, it tastes sweet. So I
Yeah.
think the bitterness
kinda like-
is coming off as sweet to
But
me.
not too sweet. It's not like
No,
a. Not like
I mean,
a.
that's
not
what I'm
sugary.
saying. I don't
No.
mean sweet, but I mean compared to, I don't know what to expect each time.
That's really good.
It's sweet and it's like kind of like white grapeish.
Oh, interesting.
Really fruity.
Oh, yeah, I get fruity.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But I get fruity probably because I'm biased and I know what it's supposed to taste like. I get a lot of toast, like toasted bread.
Well,
is
that's that. I think that breakfast maple
mapley thing, yeah.
syrupy.
Syrup, that's good too. So this is what's called a Dunkelsweissbier or a Dunkelweiss, which means
Wow.
dark.
It sounds like you're insulting someone.
Yeah, and you to say anything in German and it sounds like you're angry at
Yeah.
them, right? That's a German friend told me that. A Dunkelsweissbier, Dunkels just means dark, and then Weissbier, which is the Hefeweizen. So you imagine
good.
when you drink a Hefeweizen, you get banana is a big thing. You
Tim,
get
you
with
like
that.
Hefeweizen, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably, I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a commercial Dunkelweizen. This is hands down.
Why wouldn't they? Should be making that? That would just sell like crazy.
I don't know if it would actually.
Really?
People want hazy IPA. That's the That's the
That's
thing.
because
That's
they
nerds
don't know. You know, there's life outside of Miller Lite and hazy IPA.
Don't you dare talk
Yeah,
bad
don't.
about Miller Lite.
And no, it's great. Here, babe.
I'll get a rinse on that one as well, Timmy, when you get a chance.
That's my second favorite.
What exactly did you like about it so much?
Easy
Just all
drinking
the
beer
easy
with
drinking-
flavor,
Yeah, I do feel like
with a good flavor.
Yeah,
Non-bitter.
unique flavor.
Yeah,
in
unique flavor.
In the same way as that Belgian ale that we had, Weissbier, this type of style is fermented with a yeast that's known to impart much more character than like your classic American strains.
Yeah.
That clean, in America, the expectation is you use the yeast so that it gets out of the way. Because you want the malt or more likely the hops to shine. Whereas in beers like this and those Belgian ales, a big part of the character of the beer is the yeast character. And so I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah. That was
Great
really
job,
good.
Ben.
That was really lovely.
Yeah, super good. And we got another one from him. He put the electrical tape over the caps, which, yeah, it's a pain in my ass to get these things open. But
Have scissors or something?
I got very long fingernails or sharp
I've had
fingernails.
3 staple openers over
Yeah.
there.
Right on your desk right next to me. No, I got it. I got this one. And all right. So Tim, you liked that Dunkelsweiss as well?
Yes, it was very good. It was clean.
Yeah.
good.
And it was very
And it was
pretty.
not super carbonated, which I think
That's probably
you
why I
liked,
liked
huh?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think beer's supposed to be super carbonated.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Wow,
I'm
look at that
excited
one.
for you to.
Oh,
That one
That's-
barely has any color.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
It looks like Chardonnay.
Yeah, well, wait till you smell
Wow.
and taste it. Chardonnay, that's the buttery one, right? That's the one
It
that
can be,
have
but
it.
it can also be dry.
Yeah.
It's almost got a.
looks like lemonade.
It
You
does.
got you got a little bit of the stuff on the bottom. But that's why yours isn't clear. Everybody else got
Yeah.
a crystal
Smells
clear
like
sample.
licorice.
Okay, that's what I got too, Tim. First thing I got
Oh,
was
yeah.
licorice.
Immediate black licorice.
Give me the bottle real quick. I don't.
Definitely licorice. Like
Oh well. Okay.
good
then-
and plenty.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
you guys are good.
Oh,
you guys
man.
are so good.
Whoa.
Intense licorice.
Whoa. Gross. I'm the only one with headphones on. That sounded awful.
Oh, Timmy.
Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is
It
interesting.
has like licorice with like lemon.
Yes.
So what do you think this is?
Licorice lemon beer.
Yes. It's licorice lemon beer.
Dunkel licorice lemon.
It's not dark though.
It's a
dude.
Belgian, German licorice beer.
With pediococcus.
He melted down all his kids good and plenty.
I do appreciate
Pedia-
that you remembered that
With
word.
Pedialyte.
Oh, I'm never going to forget that now.
Oh man. Okay.
Woo. Oh, that's definitely a cough drop.
Yeah.
It is very
Lemon.
medicinal to me.
Certainly not drinking a glass of that myself.
Yeah, so I will tell you, this is a cider.
No.
It's very lemony to
don't-
me.
It's a cider.
Yeah, I don't get lemon. I
It's
definitely
something like that on the end of it. It's
It's,
not
it's,
just
it's
licorice.
like a cough drop.
It is very
A cough drop will have menthol. Do you a little menthol to it?
Are you getting menthol? I don't get menthol. I get exactly what's in it. So I'll tell you guys what it is. This is another one from Ben.
A little bit of juniper.
Gansimer. Juniper. Well, so it's a cider with cinnamon, cloves,
Oh
and,
yeah, there's the
star anise.
clove. The clove.
Oh.
Well, the star anise is the licorice,
Yep.
is what I get, and the clove. You kind of get that
Yeah.
clovey blend. So I have this weird thing with clove. That is generally an off flavor in beer, and so my brain now, whenever I taste clove in anything, even food, I have to get past it. Or that guy when we're camping who smokes those clove cigarettes.
yeah.
Oh,
It's so gross, and every time I smell it, I'm like, huh. Because my brain is like trained to not like that.
Well, I'm going to make a ham for you because my ham recipe has
No.
cloves in it, and I
yeah.
want to see what you think.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
I want your honest opinion.
You guys are going to kickbox in the front yard and then
Make ham together.
there's a lot of promises
Yes.
happening here. I did
Yeah.
not get any cinnamon off that
I didn't
one.
either,
Not
but-
one bit. And I feel like I can taste cinnamon.
But once you said clove in one of the the anise, of course.
But not the cinnamon.
Do you say anise or anise?
I say anise, but I don't know. That's my that's my.
This is getting problematic.
You could say all kinds of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
So this is a
It's
commer-
like a.
yeah. It's a commercial beer. that
I was going
Ben-
to say, it looks
Ben
like
sent.
it came from a store.
Yeah,
Talk
I think
about
it did. I think it's a local one that he sent in.
a pretty label too.
Yeah. Also, it smells phenomenal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is a style of beer that I really
yeah.
enjoy. I'll take the can, Timmy. I got to be able to see what
This
it is.
is a cup of
Chocolatey.
coffee. This is a cup of coffee to me.
Yeah.
Yep, you nailed
Yeah, it smells like a
It's a coffee stout.
coffee shop.
coffee shop. Yeah, it really does. It is
That's some serious coffee.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a coffee oatmeal stout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
nailed
very
it.
smooth.
Do I get some credit?
You're really good at this.
Massive credit, Michelle.
Thank you.
I know. That is so coffee.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it's like drinking dark coffee.
Yeah.
It is.
Which
It's
we
a-
all
it's a
had
rich-
some before
Right
we
before we
started.
came in,
today.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a rich beer.
Yeah. I
Does
like
anybody?
it.
There's a little left if anybody.
I do-
wants
I do
one.
like
It's
it.
really
Yeah,
good.
to me, or you can set.
I
That'd be
really-
good if it warms up too.
I
So,
really like the label.
Yeah, Ben, thank you for sending that in. It's always
Yeah.
fun when people send in commercial beers that we can't get here, in Fresno or in California.
Yeah, it smells lovely. What's
Yeah.
the alcohol content on that thing?
Look at the can. Yeah, I don't
know.
Timmy's got the can.
Oh, Eagle
Oh,
Eye.
Eagle Eye, the
Get
blind
him
guy.
to tell us what the tiny print says.
Look at him, tiny print. He can't
want me
read
to
it.
look?
He cannot read it. He has no idea.
He's like, if I'm reading it
I can-
correctly,
Look at me. Look. It's probably in these tiny right here.
I'm going to say it's a 6.8.
I'm gonna say it's a. I'll guess.
I want to guess too.
6.2.
Oh, I don't. It may not be on here.
Oh, they have to put it on there.
I think in California
it's not
they do.
California.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's usually on this.
I
on this
know.
one.
I thought it was for sure going to be right.
Making
Okay.
fun of Eagle Eye.
Man,
Sorry, Tim.
we don't know. We'll have to look it up.
Is it not on there, Laura?
I honestly don't see it.
Well, then I'm right. 6.8.
Scan the code to
Whatever.
learn more.
So this next one is another one that came without a printout, but it's called Pablo's Postre or Poster, Postre. I don't know.
Prostate.
Pablo's prostrate. Oh, it tastes a little like butt.
Correct. I am. We actually do have we do
I don't want
taste a little like butt.
Pablo's prostate.
Okay, I do have a printout on this one. I just needed to look a little harder. Pablo's prostrate. Pablo, these people are being mean to you, man. Okay, so it's Jamie and John. Jamie Waldeer and John Annunziato.
Italian.
From Oakland, California. So it sounds Italian, isn't it?
Also smells like coffee to me.
Yeah, like oak coffee.
Oak. I don't have. We don't have enough time to read.
Oh my gosh.
yes.
It tastes like coffee with Bailey's in it to me compared to the other one.
Maybe
Yeah.
higher alcohol content then.
There it is.
It's got
Possibly.
that like
Ooh, yeah.
that added
Yeah.
part to
It's
it.
smooth and it's dark.
It's got the mocha. Bailey's is a mocha liqueur, right?
Bailey's is Irish cream.
But it's
But what's the flavor? Irish cream
and
liqueur.
Yeah.
Then
whatever
that's-
that is.
She's right.
It
Yeah.
has the coffee with that
Yeah.
bend.
Yeah, I definitely get spices, cinnamon or something. Oh,
It is Irish. You're right. You
Oh, yeah,
nailed
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Irish cream and coffee.
Final. I got something. That's
You
what
guys
it
are
tastes like
kicking
to me.
ass. You guys are nailing this so good. Now, there's no Irish cream in this, but I will.
No, but it's not
it
just
tastes
like
like
a
it.
coffee
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah. So it's a pastry stout. These are kind of a newfangled, pastry stouts are like dessert stouts. I think, it got started with people having fun with beer and like throwing donuts in the mash.
Well, you
or-
could say then this is more of like a sweet cream additive, which is that
Totally.
pastry style to the coffee if you didn't want to go Irish cream. But it's definitely like a creamy
I get creamy
flavor to it.
Well,
It doesn't look creamy.
Once
but-
I read you what is in there, I think you'll understand why you're getting that and where it's coming from. Because once I read it, it's all I can focus on now. So it says, this beer was our first brew together, Jamie and John. He says, combining our average talents and 2 all-grain electric brewing systems, we brewed a petite pastry stout conditioned on 10 Tahitian vanilla beans.
Oh, see?
vanilla. Yep.
Oh, wait for the next one. 1 pound of toasted coconut flakes,
Yep.
a half a pound of toasted cacao nibs. That's just chocolate. Yeah, cocoa. And 1 teaspoon of cardamom seeds. I think that's the holiday flavor that I'm getting in there.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
cardamom? We built a pretty badass grain bill consisting of all of this stuff.
This is good.
A ton of stuff. It is really good. Okay, what's your guess on the ABV of this bad?
8.
This big guy.
Oh,
8%?
Well, Tim already told me, so I cheated.
I read the bottle.
eagle eye.
What was it? 8 what?
Tim, you're almost fired, my friend.
It's I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go with 7.2.
Oh, you said, yeah. He told me and I forgot.
Yeah, 7 point.
7.2.
That's funny that you told her and then she
And
forgot
I exaggerated,
already.
yeah.
When did you tell her? I'm sitting in between you two.
Telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Jamie and John. Great job on this.
Yeah,
beer.
really good.
I haven't had a coffee beer like
No, with
that.
the coconut
That's got
and the
more to
vanilla.
it. That tastes more like the kind of coffee I drink
Yeah.
because I don't drink black
Sweet coffee. Yeah. You drink very white coffee.
so do
actually.
I.
Yeah.
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 I just went in for the second pour and it was good.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very good. I love coconut in beer. It's one of the weird additives that I actually find very good. An old friend, Wes Tarvin, who is now podcasting about barbecue and not beer, but he made this coconut porter or stout one time, and I just couldn't get enough of it. You don't generally think of stout as being a refreshing beer, but when
No.
you add coconut to it, I could just crush this stuff. Yeah, and I get that same thing though. The cardamom on this makes it seem to me more like holiday.
Yeah.
Like
That's is there cinnamon? That's that cinnamon.
just cardamom.
Okay.
Is the only spice that he put.
I like cardamom a lot.
yeah.
I just rarely use it.
What is it?
I don't even know what cardamom is.
I've had it on. It's more of a pastry. You would like dust it on something. Like something you baked. You would dust it on there.
Does it taste like Christmas? Because that's what
No,
this tastes like to
I
me.
don't know. Maybe it has little cinnamon elements to it. When I think Christmas, I think cinnamon.
Yeah.
Or cloves, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, or nutmeg.
Yeah,
Nutmeg.
nutmeg
Yeah,
and cinnamon.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I was making the clove joke because we
Yeah.
were talking. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. That's it. I'm getting you clove cigarettes for your birthday.
Oh my God, no, thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna make a list of things you're bringing him.
Yes. Whole cloves.
What you said
Like
a comment
the
about his
12 days of
kickboxing.
Christmas. Remember,
I don't.
you said you were talking about kickboxing, and then
This is years ago?
yes, and
Oh.
then he didn't believe you or something, and then
Yeah.
you said any day you name the time and
Yeah.
I'll meet you in your front yard.
And Tim's in there going, "Don't do it, dude. Don't do it, dude."
right, because it would be a beating.
I wouldn't do it because of Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She kind of needs him to be able to go to work.
Workers' comp.
That's right.
Except they wouldn't give it to me because it'd be like
No.
my neighbor kicked my ass. Oh boy. I think we're safe. That
Foamy?
one. No, but it's got a lot of hiss. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're opening those not over the new area rug.
We've got paper
I
towels.
know. My biggest worry with having Laura on was like, oh, she's going to see us spill crap in here.
Yeah.
There's stuff
She's
I
I see
prepared.
it the
we
next
do pretty
day,
good.
I
but
see it the next day.
when I come do my sweep,
It's like a frat house, like
Yeah, I know.
dried beer on the
So-
floor.
I like this one because, oh my gosh, look at this. I'm excited to drink this one. All right, let's hear what you guys think before we talk about it.
Smelling it now.
Another one with a label. It looks like
Fruity.
also
I think it's fruity.
Yeah, in it
ooh,
It
it's
smells
like a
good,
mamba.
like a mamba. Laura loves mambas.
What's a mamba?
Those little they're like wax candies. I don't know. They taste like wax to
I'm
me.
like, isn't a mamba a snake?
There's a black mamba. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about the candy.
Okay, that smells phenomenal. It's to me.
Smells really good. Whoa, it's carbonated. Way too much for me.
Well, I heard the.
Yeah, it like bit me in the back of the tonsil.
That's my favorite kind.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious!
It doesn't have as much
Timmy?
fruit when I drank it though.
It smells fruitier than
Yeah.
it tastes.
It's kind of like apple juice.
Oh,
Interesting, carbonated like sparkling apple.
Yeah,
juice.
like sparkling.
I think it's sweeter than apple juice. Apple juice has a little bit of a tart, maybe like
I
a
mean,
berry.
I believe it's a sour. I think.
So I'm trying to figure out.
I think it's a sour, a light sour.
Okay, so this came from Derek St. Jean or St. Jean
Yeah, it's a sour.
in Ringe, New Hampshire. We drank a beer of theirs
Oh,
before.
look.
We might have actually reviewed this beer already, and this is
Oh.
just the leftover one, and we're doing it again. But I'm not complaining.
It's
it's good.
smooth. Yeah.
So there is I wouldn't call it an off flavor. There's a compound that can be created in certain types of beers called THP. Don't ask what that's tetrahyd something. I don't know, but it
Pedialyte, tetrahydropedialyte.
the way that I experience that, and everybody has a different descriptor for it, is plain Captain Crunch.
Oh,
So when
It's like berry
berry
berry crunch.
crunch berries, right?
Crunch berries.
100%.
So this has raspberries in it as well.
Yeah.
It's a raspberry wheat ale that was
It's
fermented
an ale.
with Philly sour, that same weird strain that produces a little bit of sour character. Other than that, it's just a basic wheat ale.
Yeah, but it had that sour. We nailed the sour.
Yeah.
I feel like it smells stronger than it tastes.
Yes, it does.
Definitely does.
Totally. I agree with you. Yeah.
It's pretty as well. It's nice.
So
color.
he didn't actually add fresh raspberries. He added raspberry extract, which I think is kind of cool.
That's probably why it's so light in the palate. I mean, you can smell it, but
Yeah, maybe, huh? I've never used. I used raspberry extract that one time when I made the seltzer.
Yeah, I can smell the raspberry really strong, and then when I taste it, it's almost like
Oh, that smell is so. It smells like crunch berries. It smells like you're
Yeah.
eating Captain Crunch crunch berries.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's THP or not, but it could just be the Pilsner malt.
it's right there. But I feel like crunch berries taste saltier than this.
I love Crunchberry cereal.
So do I. It's so good. It screws up the roof of your mouth though.
It does, but it's worth it.
Every damn time. I'll take a little rinse there, Timmy. So what'd you guys think of that one? You like it? You don't like it?
I personally think it's too carbonated for me, but the flavor is really solid.
I didn't mind it. It was good.
You didn't like it or you did?
No, I liked it.
He said he didn't mind it. Okay, so great job, Derek. That beer is one that I could. That's a summer beer to me. Drink it all.
100%
Yeah.
summer beer.
Yeah, I could drink that
Poolside.
in the pool.
In the pool, yeah, hanging out by the
The
pool.
list of pool drinks is long.
Yes.
I know, God, I know. I'm trying to find. I don't think he put the. 5.64%
Yeah,
ABV.
that's what it tastes like.
That's pretty perfect,
Yeah.
actually. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
5.5% is like that's kind of my jam there.
Yeah.
All right, so this next beer, I do not have the name of the person who brewed it.
Oh, that's root beer.
It does look like root beer. It looks like a bottle of A&W root beer.
Nailed it.
So the packaging is something I need to comment on. So they are in PET, 12-ounce PET bottles with screw-on caps.
Yeah.
He sent 4 of these. A lot of people are very worried about shipping beer because if you break a bottle or if there's a leak and it smells like beer, technically it's illegal in the United States. Nobody actually cares. I've shipped beer. I'll admit it on this show. Come at me, feds. I've shipped beer USPS before. I've had beers break and they still show up where they're going. One of the bottles broke or whatever. He shipped 4 of these beers. When I got the box, it looked like a very fresh, brand new box. So I was hopeful everything was cool. When I opened that box, there was another box in there that was molded over and wet.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even see the shipping, who the person was, and they didn't include a note like I asked for.
Yeah.
So if you are the person who brewed Red Eyes American Red Ale with a G on the label, I mean, they did a really cool job on
Did that afterwards.
the labels. I know, and I know that I'm giving away the style right now. 2 of your bottles were completely empty and soaked your entire box, and whoever you shipped with, I think it was UPS, actually repackaged it for you and still delivered it to my
Wow.
house.
That's unusual.
Very unusual, right? I would have just tossed it if I
above
was
and
the
Got them on a
Beyond.
nice day.
So I will say though that we are going to drink this one bottle that I've got. There's another one that's about half full, but I'm a little concerned that it's probably overly oxidized or probably sour because
Yeah.
a bug could have gotten in there because somehow beer leaked out of it. This one though
Unopened.
is a
Yeah.
full
Pristine.
bottle. Yeah, it's pristine. You can tell it got wet with other beer though, because look at how faded all the label is. So I'm gonna give her a go first, and I'll let you guys know if it's.
So it just showed up like that.
Yeah,
No.
it smells perfectly fine. And in fact, it smells very, very good. It just happens when you ship beer. It could be, I was trying to figure out, you would think particularly with this style of a bottle that it would be never break and not leak at all. But 2.5 of those 4 beers leaked out. So it's kind of a bummer. And I wish I knew who you were. I tried to read the shipping label.
It looks like a military label or something.
Yeah.
Well, you can definitely, it says red eye on the front of it, you said. It definitely has a red hue.
Yeah. Ooh, my God,
Let me
that's
smell
good.
it.
I like this a lot.
Mild smell.
Yeah, I'm not getting much on the smell.
Yeah, that's kind of a red ale, amber ale. You call it,
Ooh.
That's
so
good.
good. So good. Yeah.
You can definitely tell it's an ale. I'm just not an ale. It's got that little bit of bitter.
Well, that's not necessarily the ale thing as much as it is this style of beer tends to be more. So ale just means it's fermented warmer. Lager style just is fermented cooler, traditionally at least.
Yeah.
Is that a little clove kind of taste?
I don't get clove in
I
it.
don't either.
But you might. I mean, if you perceive it, it's there. I get caramel. I get caramel and toast.
That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. That's what I
I
meant.
don't get
yeah.
caramel.
Ooh, it's really nice. So if you think of like Irish red ale, I think what this brewer was going for, and again, reach out to me. I'll read your.
Sure.
I'll give you some credit in a future episode in the feedback section. But I think what this brewer was going for was a hybrid Irish red ale with American hops is probably my guess. Because what I get is definitely that more caramel toasty Irish red ale characteristic with a little bit of like American hop character, some of that Cascade thing, or yeah.
I feel like I could. I don't know, Laura. What do you think? I don't think I could drink a glass of it.
No, no, but yeah, it's
man,
not
it's good.
bad. It's just not not what I would normally drink.
This is definitely not a beer I would think, especially you, Laura,
Yeah.
but that you guys
It's
would
just
like,
a little like much. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it's rich. It's
It's
kind of
rich.
Yeah. And like if I'm going to be critical, I'd probably up the bitterness just a hair, but you think it's too bitter.
I would not like that at all.
Because
Yeah.
when you start using some of those darker crystal malts, which are the sweeter malts like that, to bring it into balance, you use hops to add bitterness, right, to balance it out.
Yeah.
And I quite like a more assertive bitterness. So.
Which is interesting because I like I personally like the stouts and things, which have a lot of flavor and they're rich too. But I think that the more complex flavors,
It's not that bitter.
I enjoy more.
Yeah. Which is probably why you like those more fermentation character beers,
Like the Belgian.
Weiss beer and the Belgians. Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah. Well, good job, whoever sent this to me. Again, I'm sorry that you had a major leak like that, and it really did. You should have seen this box. The whole half of it was molded over, and I thought it was a wash. So I went and took all the bottles out and kind of rinsed them off. 2 were completely empty. That's where the
Stuff came from.
stuff came from, and then there's one that's about half full, and then this one made it. So I'm glad we got to drink it. Again, email me. I'll give you credit in a future episode. We do have to take a quick break, and I have to go grab the other half of our beers. We're only about halfway through.
Woot, woot.
It's going to be fun. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
it was
keep
good.
doing this. We'll be right back. There's no denying that stainless steel is the best material for brewing equipment, and Delta Brewing Systems offers some of the lowest prices on high-quality stainless gear, like the Firm Tank, which in addition to holding 8 gallons or 30 liters of wort, comes with a domed lid to even further reduce the chances of a messy blow-off. Plus, it can hold up to 4 psi of pressure for closed transfers. Delta Brewing Systems also has their own line of brew kettles, as well as one of the lowest-priced all-in-one electric brewing systems out there, and their prices are shockingly low. If you're in the market for legit stainless gear that won't break the bank, do yourself a favor and head over to deltabrewingsystems.com today. As every brewer knows, the best beer requires the best hops, which Yakima Valley Hops provides fresh from the source to brewers around the world, carrying everything from classics like Cascade to modern favorites like Galaxy and Mosaic, as well as other ingredients and gear. Yakima Valley Hops has it all. And don't forget to check out their new podcast, The Late Edition, where the YVH crew goes into depth on our favorite plant with industry experts. Head over to YakimaValleyHops.com now to see all they have to offer and subscribe to The Late Edition wherever it is you listen to podcasts. All right, we're back. We've used the restroom. We've got a whole new set of beers that we're going to be drinking here. You guys having fun yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
So much fun.
always.
More fun than you thought, though, right, love?
It is definitely not as horrible as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, it's still as dorky as you've presumed it has been over the last 240-ish episodes.
So who's counting?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like it's dorky. I just don't. It's not my world.
Right.
It's
You
dorky.
are
I own it, though.
The king of the world that I don't understand. But I've tried you've had me try so many beers at breweries that
Yeah.
I have an idea of what I like or what I don't like.
Would
Right.
you say that some of the beers we've had so far, and we're moving into one now, we just poured it, that I think you might actually enjoy as well, but would you say that some of the beers you've tried so far surpass the stuff that you've had at breweries that I've asked you to taste?
Yeah. There's stuff I like more than I've had at breweries.
Yeah.
100% agree with that.
That's crazy, right? And
Yeah.
it's home
Yeah.
brewers. It's
Well, there was
people that
there
open
was
their
one of them that I
garages,
said, why can't we buy
This
this
is a-
locally? Yeah.
Speaking of locally.
This is a good round of
yeah.
beers coming.
Well,
in.
we've got another, I believe, 9 or 8 to do, something like that. So, yeah.
Oh,
I have my
vey.
swimsuit on going in the pool after
Oh
this.
yeah, so do I. I know we're all sitting here in our swimsuits. So this one was brewed by Tony DeMatai out of Reedley, California,
Oh,
which,
all right.
which is a neighbor of
neighbor,
Fresno. Right,
yeah.
they were right there. We camp in Reedley. It's only 30 minutes away, whatever. But also, you know what else Reedley is known for?
No, that's Selma.
It's football player.
Mennonites? Oh,
Oh, Derek Carr?
No, Josh Allen. Come
No.
on,
Derek
Josh.
Carr's
Oh.
big-
Buffalo Bills.
him too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Laura. How come you didn't know that? Come on.
I
that's-
always forget it because
I don't
Josh
know
Allen's
that.
in New York now.
Oh, you're more
yeah,
football than
Buffalo,
I
New
am.
York. I love Josh Allen, though.
All right,
We
I'm
love
smelling
you.
this beer.
Josh Allen, I hope you brew and listen to this. You can come on the show anytime you want. So this is brewed by Tony DeMatai, and he calls it Sprechen Sie dick.
Wow. It's a little cloudy and salty. I'm kidding.
That's gross.
I'm going to pass on this one.
Go on, Tim.
The
Bottoms up.
reason I said that is I know you guys don't know German, either do I, and what it translates to is not what you would think it is. So let's dig into this one and let me know what you guys think.
It smells good.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what I'm trying to elaborate on. Good.
I know exactly what I smell, but I make this beer a lot. This style of beer a lot.
This is delicious.
Oh, I love it.
It's like bready kind of.
That's exactly what I get.
That's
it's,
yeast,
it's toasted bread. Toasted
Yeah,
bread. No, it's the malt.
Oh, the malt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
malt
very
that he
good.
used in this. He did not give his malt bill, but my guess would be that he used a pretty good amount. You guys won't know what this is. It's called Munich. And
I've
probably,
heard
yeah, because we've talked about it before, Timmy, but probably some Munich 2, which is a darker version of Munich malt, which is supposed to be very bready, but more toasted.
I like it because it's not bitter. I don't have a bitter
You will-
issue on my palate at all.
This is a style of beer that you would hope to never expect to be too bitter.
Yeah.
Now, this is also a style of beer that you might be walking around in, let's say, Bavaria during Oktoberfest drinking.
I'm down. Let's
I
go.
noticed
Maybe,
that.
or it could be brewed in the month of March. Does that make any sense to anyone?
St. Patrick's Day.
Your birthday?
Märzen.
What is that?
So, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Sprachen Sie dick. It
Sounds like you're saying
Keep saying that over and
Speaking-
over again.
It's spelled
The
dick.
dick.
It really is. It says Sprechen Sie dick.
It sounds like an
D-I-C-K.
inappropriate film. That's what it sounds
DICK?
like.
Yeah, if this is an interpretation, I'm just putting whatever Tony wrote down here. Märzen, a little light.
Wow.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
good.
I
That's what it
actually could drink a glass of this.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, this is very well done. I love the fact that these local guys are just killing it with this. great
5
beer.
point something alcohol.
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like.
yeah,
Not
5.4.
even.
Yeah.
5.4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, not too heavy. Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could drink that all day.
I really,
long.
honestly, Marshall, I was expecting to drink a bunch of beers that I hated.
Yeah,
Well-
I was really nervous going.
Were you
into
thinking
this.
that too?
I was really nervous. We're nervous every time we do these beer reviews. I mean, nervous, excited, I
Yeah.
think is the better term. But this one is just really, really well done, Tony. I mean, that's my opinion. Timmy, what do you think? That you like lager. So Märzen is a lager style of beer. So it should be very clean fermentation.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very, very nice tasting. I mean, it was smooth. They had that bready.
Yeah. Very, very low hop character,
Yeah.
very low bitterness, but very balanced anyways, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because that's
It was
the
good.
problem sometimes is you get these really malty beers that don't have enough bitterness to balance it, and they just taste like sugar bombs, you know?
This tastes lovely.
Yeah.
Good balance.
It was like it was made in Reedley.
Oh God.
It tastes like Reedley. That's actually not a compliment. I don't
Lindy's
think.
Landing.
It
We
probably
love
isn't.
Lindy's Landing.
Hey, they're not paying us to go to Lindy's Landing. It's an awesome campground in
say
Reedley,
it.
California.
But not
You
right
know,
now. It's too hot.
Lindy's Landing should be sponsoring Brülosophy. Just
Oh,
saying.
I would love it
That'd
if
be
they
great.
did. I would love
Let's
it if
get
they
some
did.
free camping nights.
I know it. That is really a fun place to camp.
I will say all these, honestly, I don't really know what to expect, but they taste like things that I've tasted at actual breweries.
Huh.
They don't taste like
Yeah,
somebody
That's good.
did it in their backyard. or
Oh, your
whatever.
expectation
Well-
was low because it's homebrewed. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yes.
Ah,
I will tell you this.
Not making the pruno.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was so gross.
I will tell you this. The quality of homebrewed beer in the last 20 years, because I started brewing 20 years ago, the crap that I would taste and pretend that we liked, you know, and
things have changed.
People are so good at making beer nowadays. There are, I've told this, I was having a conversation with Brad just a couple months ago about how the fact homebrewers, literally a good homebrewer, can make a beer that is equally as good, if not better,
Yeah.
than some of the best commercial beers. But what makes it even better is that it's fresh.
Yeah.
So
Mo better.
yeah, is that you can go to their house and have it 3 weeks after they brewed it. Whereas if you're in a brewery and they're making 40 barrels
It's
or
shipped,
20
it's
barrels,
sent. Yeah.
or not even that,
Trucked.
it's just been sitting around in a keg for the last 2
Yeah.
months because they've got to push through it, and it's easier to make big batches. I mean, there's a lot of really benefits to homebrewing that I think, and some of the best cider I've ever had is
Yeah.
cider that homebrewers make that I make.
Some
Yeah.
of the best
You're-
I've ever had is right out of your garage.
That's what I'm
Correct.
saying. Is
Yeah.
it you can that mango one we did that was phenomenal.
The berry.
Yeah, the berry one, that's the classic. I need to make another batch of that, but
Yeah.
It's summer.
because you get to tweak it, you get to do exactly what
Yeah.
you want to it, and when you brew enough, you might brew. Tony might have brewed 3 batches of this prior to this batch, and he made little tweaks to make it exactly what he wants it to be. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. All right, we're gonna move on to the next beer. This one was brewed by, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look at the notes, Will Lovell, who is one of the leadership guys for the Brew Club. I've had his beers before. In fact, we drank one of his average brew beers, I believe. In that last episode, Timmy, when we did all those average brew beers, those pale ales. Yeah, this is Will Lovell, San Antonio, Texas. So if this shouldn't taste like Reedley.
What? Don't give Reedley a bad name.
I'm really excited, Michelle, for you to taste this one.
It
I'm
looks
really
dark.
excited for you.
It looks like a stout.
And I'm curious what Laura thinks of this one as well.
like chocolately coffee down the smell.
Tobacco. Yeah.
On the smell.
That smells phenomenal.
Sometimes a stout can taste like or smell like dirt, but this
Oh,
one
wow.
doesn't.
I will tell you, it is not a stout.
That is strong.
It's like a mead.
Whoa.
That is so strong.
So when you
Whoa.
say okay, love. When you say strong, what do you mean by that?
Intense.
Alcohol.
Alcohol
I just
strong.
mean like
High alcohol.
like a lot
High alcohol content.
but like a lot of flavor.
Like barley wine-ish almost.
Oh my god!
I mean, it has
it's
a lot
so
of flavor,
good.
but I feel like the alcohol punches it.
Well,
like
you're
if you took the water out of something and made it stronger.
Yeah.
condensed it or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what this style is all about. We talked about this style in the last segment a little bit. We had not tasted one yet. So you remember we talked about Belgian dark strong ale, and you guys had that one. I think it was the second beer we
Yeah.
had. This is a Belgian quad.
What does quad mean?
So it means 4.
Well, I know that, but in the world of brewing,
So it's a very the
Thanks,
little.
Tim.
This is kind of fun because I get to teach a little bit here. So so in Trappist brewing, so the monks that brew beer, there are an Enkel, which is a single or a blonde without an E, right? And that is the lightest. It's a pale colored beer that is lower in alcohol. I forget what around 5%, probably a little lower. Then there's a double, D-U-B-B-E-L.
A double.
That's what people. I used to call it a double, and then a Belgian person corrected me. They're
It's
like, "No,
double, dude."
we call it double." Yeah, exactly. So there's single or Enkel, double. A double is dark, just like this, but it's up, and they call it a double because it's stronger than a single. And then there's a triple, which is pale, like the Enkel or the single. but it's stronger than the double. And some people like to put spices in their triple. Ray Found, old Brülosophy contributor, makes a phenomenal triple that has some spices in it. And then there's the quad. The quad is the one, my understanding at least, that the monks would use to sustain themselves because it's supposed to be like a liquid bread. And
it's
again,
like a meal.
It's like a meal
with
in glass.
alcohol.
11%.
Oh,
ABV.
This thing's
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, 11% ABV. I'm going to read you what Will said, and I love that Will.
Can we just say that the monks were just drunk 24/7?
Right.
Also not eating. Can you imagine?
Like
That's
it sounds like something a bunch of guys would come up with.
And the monks were men. Yes, the monks.
We're not going to eat, and we're going to.
We have no women around.
we're
Sometimes
going to
we
do
can't.
it for God.
We're celibate and we can't talk to anybody, but we're just gonna be drunk the whole time. Yeah,
celibate. That would suck,
Right.
dude. Be like all drunk with be celibate.
with all your monk friends,
That would suck.
Let's try it out.
all your
I
robes
think
on.
not. So Will says a Belgian style quad that was keg conditioned. That means it was carbonated in the keg naturally, not force carbonated with an external CO2 tank, but carbonated in the keg with sugar and yeast. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's sweeter than the other beers. It almost reminds me of
It's kind of like grape
port wine with that sort of that mouthfeel, that
Yeah, like thicker.
a thicker, sweeter wine.
So he says keg conditioned for 300 days before he put it on tap. That just means he let it condition for a while. I designed it when COVID started, and this is the third iteration of this batch. 11% ABV for when pandemic gets you
I was
down.
going to say, did you just want to be drunk the whole time during the pandemic?
that would just be perfect in the height of.
It is
COVID.
so good. Did you like it, Timmy? What'd you think?
It
2
was,
glasses of that, and
it was
you're done.
yeah, but it was strong. You can.
You two skip dinner tonight and just drink that.
Yeah,
And no sex ever again.
and you have to be in
Especially
robes.
with you.
Oh, Marcia, you could chant. That would be great.
You hurt my feelings, man. Give me a rinse there. I'm going to grab the other beer. So what did
I
you
don't
think?
care.
Did you get that same fermentation character, the kind of banana-y,
So I was gonna say it tasted
Sweet.
like a bubble gum on the top of it to me.
very, very common Belgian descriptors, bubblegum?
Really?
Yeah.
I
Good
got
job,
that-
Laura.
I was
Well,
saying
see,
kind
there you
of
go.
grape.
I got a little bubble gum on top
That's
of
the
it.
second time you've said grape today,
It has.
Tim.
He's in the grape mood.
I also have a plugged up nose and
Yeah.
No excuses.
and
No
all right. How about
excuses.
this one? I don't know what I'm talking about.
There you go. Still, that's an excuse. No
Yes.
excuses.
No, it's not.
I
the truth.
I didn't think bubblegum, and then when Laura said that, I feel like that's what I was picking up as well. You know, bubblegum. I did a little research on what bubblegum flavor
I
is.
know what it is.
Can you-
Strawberry banana.
Strawberry banana, but in a very specific ratio, and
Huh.
I think it's 80-20 strawberry to
What
banana.
the heck? Do you have a lot of time on your hands to just research bubblegum?
It took me 3 minutes to Google and read
Random.
it.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I do beer stuff.
Yeah,
and-
that's true. Flavors. I just wouldn't have thought bubblegum and beer ever until today.
I know. And Belgian beer. That was you nailed that, babe. So this is GP Pils. I'm going to pass it around here in a second, Timmy. So it's a Pilsner, obviously. I shouldn't have told you that.
Nope.
But we were starting
No.
to catch our little buzz here. Again, this is one that came with no notes. So I don't know who brewed it. It is a white label with red Sharpie on it that says GP Pils 5.3%. So if you sent this in, you forgot to send me the note that I asked you to send with
Maybe
it.
they didn't want to send you the note.
They could be. And yeah.
You want to be anonymous.
And maybe it was Aunt Giselle.
Giselle. Yeah, Giselle Peralta. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
That's
She had
part of
no
her-
idea
that's
she was
part of
going to
her
be.
email address.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know.
All right. I'm not going to do my review. I already gave away what the style is, so I'm not going to do my review.
I don't really
until you guys
understand
do
that.
it.
What a pills.
A
We don't
Pilsner? You want me
know.
to, I'll explain it to you. Can I explain it to you?
What's the difference
Please.
between a pilsner and a?
So pale lager is there's multiple types of lagers that are pale colored
Yeah.
like this. So Pilsner originally started in the Czech Republic. I don't know what they would call it nowadays, or back in the day. I don't, but the Czech Republic ultimately. There is Pilsner Urquell, or Urquell, as people say, very popular Pilsner, and it's just a style of beer that is Pilsner malt, very lightly kilned malt. And noble hops. Typically back then it would have been Satz hops, but now with German Pilsner, so the Germans took that and adapted it to their own. They make it just different, so it'll be a little bit sharper on the palate. That's how I experience it. Not as soft as a Bohemian or a Czech Pilsner. But yeah, so Pilsner is just a very simple, easy drinking beer that all of the American big lager beers are based off of.
Like Coors Light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or like Coors Banquet would be.
Coors Banquet.
Yeah. And Coors Light is just a diet version of that has grown in popularity because it's so easy to drink, right? Same thing with Miller Lite and MGD, right?
Right.
And Budweiser.
Well, it doesn't
and
have a lot of foam. It seems not a lot of carbonation or...
That could be poor. That could just be the poor quality. Yeah.
In
good.
Latvian, pils is a castle.
Pils? P-I-L-S?
Pils is a castle.
Yeah. My wife speaks fluent Latvian, so...
Maybe we should just have her speak that the entire rest of the time.
This would be alus, right?
Yeah.
That's
good.
Easy drinking beer.
I like it.
This tastes like
Smooth.
What do you
Coors
get? What do you get in the nose? Because the smell.
I'm gonna have to do another pour.
This is a beer that I could drink the hell out of. I'll tell you.
It
I
has
like
a
it.
mild nose.
You like this one, babe?
I do. Well, it's funny.
It's like a
I got
Corona.
nothing.
Because it has the right kind of carbonation. I like that right as you're drinking it, and then it's smooth.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who sent this to me. This is really good.
good.
Really good. It's like
It's
it
very
should
good.
be sold in the stores. Good.
It's better than a lot of the stuff sold in stores.
I wish we had more bottles. We could finish off the night with this.
Well, I do have one more outside,
All right,
actually.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I've noticed that we're trying to take it easy with 16 beers. So I'm usually we open up 2 bottles for 4 people, but on this one we're sharing 1 bottle. Now I have more beers that this person brewed. I don't know who it is, guy, girl, where they're from, anything like that. They did not include. If they did, I lost it, and that's my fault. Again, if you sent me a bottle of GP pills and some other stuff that we're going to get to with white labels and a red Sharpie marker, please email me and I'll give you credit in a future episode.
It has a really light nose. Either that or I'm continuing to get plugged up.
It has a very light nose,
Okay.
and it very well should have that. This should not be an obtuse,
Right.
In your face type of beer.
It's
This
not.
is a very much a Pilsner malt, very simple, probably a single hop. Maybe they used a higher bitterness hop, in the 60, early in the kettle, but phenomenally done.
Yeah,
This
light,
is
light
very
and
good.
refreshing. It's good.
I would love to know how it was brewed because we've been getting a lot of beers lately. We talk in Brülosophy, we talk a lot about fermenting beer, lager beers warm. So traditionally, a lager beer is fermented at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 10 C or lower, between about 48 or 50 degrees C or F. And that's 9 to 10 degrees Celsius. Well, we've done some experiments that show certain yeast strains seem to perform equally as well at 68 degrees or 20 degrees C as they do at lager temps, even though they're lager strains. A lot of people will send us beers that are fermented warm and they taste phenomenal. And then they let it, I'll realize after the fact that they did that. This one, I wonder if it was fermented cold or warm. It's very, very good. No esters.
good.
Well, they might get a hold of you after if they didn't want,
I imagine they will. I hope you do, whoever brewed this. And I'm sorry, I wonder what GP stands for. Maybe that's their name.
Yes, maybe their
Maybe it
initials.
was Giselle. Aunt Giselle.
That's the only thing I can think of.
or George Patterson. I mean, it could be really anybody.
He came back, started brewing again, which
Yeah.
he probably did brew, actually.
knows?
All those old guys, yeah. So, would you drink that one sitting by the pool?
100%.
Oh yeah, Tim would love that.
It was good.
Okay, so this is from the same brewer. I'm not going to tell you what this one is because I screwed that up last time. But he does call it Mike.
It could be a woman.
He calls it Mike.
Yeah, he or she calls it.
Well, I've never met a girl named Mike.
No,
It could be
the
named after
labels,
Mike.
the labels, Mike, but who knows who the brewer is?
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, of course I'm right.
They call it Mike. I'm excited to try this
Her
one.
husband might be Mike, and he loves that.
Yeah. No, I get it. Some of
That's right.
the best beers that I've had, by the way, have been brewed by women
Yeah.
homebrewers. Phenomenal. Yeah. So I'm not, but Mike, this is Mike. I'm not going to
Mike,
tell
Mike.
you what it is.
Mike.
Don't look at the label. Let's keep it.
Mike and Ike.
Oh, maybe it tastes like a Mike and Ike.
Holy cow, that smells good.
Really?
If I
All right.
shouldn't have said
Okay.
anything. That beer, this person, God, I wish I knew who you were. Watch, it's like a friend of mine who just dropped beers off and didn't expect them
this
to be on the
guy.
show. Yeah, it's like Sean or something.
All right, here we
Timmy.
go.
Yeah. Oh my God, that smells phenomenal. Give me the bottle, Timmy, if you don't mind.
I'm not getting much on the smell, but I'm completely plugged up.
So this is going to sound crazy, similar to that other one, but it almost is a little bit more of a soda feel, like a
That's good.
Coca-Cola or like a soda
God.
portion.
I like
a
this one.
syrupy element. I don't know, slight.
You are so good at picking up on stuff, Michelle. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but I'm going to keep that in mind.
It's got a little hanging on the end there.
Yep, flavor, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it tickles the sides of my tongue. I don't know what that means.
So that is usually an astringency thing. So astringency is like black tea when you drink it and it kind of fuzzes up the side of your tongues. I don't get that with this, but it would make sense if you get a little bit of that.
I do.
It's good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So this is 7.2% ABV.
Wow, really?
Nice.
And I think that's where you're getting that from. It's just a little bit of a...
But not overwhelming at all.
So they're about, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago now. COVID screwed up my whole time frame thing. A guy I wish I could remember his name, Kelly Studevart or something like that. He created this style of beer called Brut IPA out of San Francisco, Social Kitchen Brewery. We've been there actually, long before Brut IPA was a thing. So he created this style of beer, and what it was supposed to be is when you think of Brut, you think of champagne or you think of sparkling wine that's very dry. And his whole idea was make this as dry as I can possibly get it, highly carbonated with a lot of hops. This clearly is not that, but I think what Mike or whoever it is that brewed this was it going for, he calls it Brut Pilsner.
Yeah.
And I wonder if what he was going for was just a highly carbonated, super dry Pilsner that everything else gets out of the way. Well, the way you dry something out is you get it to ferment lower. You get it to ferment lower than where it was supposed to go. There is a bug flying in my eye right now.
Why you
I know.
were hitting yourself while you were talking?
It was like right in front of my left eye, so it was.
Hey, let me get that.
I just thought it was part of your process.
No,
He's having a
it's
spasm.
definitely not as part of our process.
Hitting himself in the face.
So he calls this a Brut Pilsner. He or she calls it a Brut Pilsner, and I think that explains the 7.2% ABV. It is so good.
Good.
So well
both
done.
of those, both of those beers were good. If I had to choose, I'd choose this one just because it's just got a little bit more oomph.
So you mentioned picking up kind of a
Syrup or
syrup,
soda.
but I think that just might be
And soda, I mean Coca-Cola, like that, like dark colas.
the flavor wise, or
Yeah, but really light hinted.
interesting. Yeah, I don't get that at all. So that cola,
Not the sugar.
that's what I thought you were hinting at first. Is this the higher ABV?
Maybe there's what's the other flavoring that's really prominent in there? Is it caramel? No, that's the color. I don't know, but I got that. I'll try it again.
It's a secret recipe. They don't tell you.
12 spice. What is that? The KFC.
Yeah,
No, that's
it's a little bit of the root,
Dr.
a little
Pepper's
bit of root
20.
beer, a little bit of root beer flavor.
So root beer cola flavor is actually not too uncommon with some types of stout that are made with a lot of roasted grain. Or soy sauce. That's a weird one too.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can get a
that's
little
a
bit of
weird
soy
one.
sauce. Yeah. So surprisingly, we have not had a stout yet today. Stout, porter, brown ale, nothing like that. We've done a lot of, so far, Mike, or whoever made Mike.
I just don't think anyone would name a beer after
them.
themselves. So that's why it's not. I just don't think
Yeah,
that.
it's GP, whoever GP is.
Yeah.
Giselle Peralta.
I don't think somebody
Aunt
would.
Giselle.
You would never name a beer Marshall. I just know this.
Well,
Actually, that would be hysterical.
He
would be
is now.
Tim.
Tim.
I have named beers after most of my kids.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
what I'm saying. Maybe a kid or somebody, a grandfather, but not. I don't think anyone's. You're driving me
Mike.
crazy. There's no way this person
Yeah,
named the beer after themselves.
But if they did, we're not hating on you, Mike.
I'm not. I would be shocked.
Yeah,
I love this
very
beer.
good, very good brewer.
Yeah, it was tasty.
Yeah. We got another one from Mike.
Oh my god.
Mike GP, whoever your name is. And finally, it's one.
What's that one called?
Don't give it away.
I'm not
Does
going
it
to
have
tell
a
you.
name though?
We're gonna get another
But-
clue as to who this is by the name of this.
I don't think so. Well, maybe. MilB947.
Oh no, that's got to be their address. I don't know.
MIL-B-9-4.7.
Milby.
What?
I have no
A child
idea.
named Miller and Beatrice.
It's like our dog, Millie.
Millie.
Oh, I could drink that
Mike
Brute Pilsner all
GP
day.
Mill.
You know how new styles are invented. You got to hang out with Gordon Strong and his wife in New Zealand, babe, when we went over there. And he was telling us about New Zealand Pilsner and how, oh, this is so good. All the stuff I'm having out here, I'm going to add it to the BJCP guidelines. And sure enough, it's now a part of the BJCP guidelines.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many different styles are there?
Well, beer styles,
Yeah.
around 100.
Oh, okay.
Around 100.
Okay.
Official. But there, for a lot of them, there's also like sub styles. So you look at IPA, or like there's I believe 27B is specialty IPA, and so that would be like red IPA, white.
Nope. I just want to know
IPA.
the top styles.
The big style, yeah.
Yeah.
So that about 100.
100.
Yeah, about
Got
100.
it. Because I
And-
can imagine it goes crazy down rabbit holes from there.
Oh, crazily, yeah. Well, and that doesn't include cider, mead. You know what mead is?
Yes, I do.
Honey wine, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't include any of that stuff. That's just beer styles. And the nice thing about the BJCP, besides the fact that we love Gordon Strong, is that it really does help us to kind of organize our thinking about different styles, so that when you want to brew something that's traditional. That's where I find it really helpful is if you want to brew something traditional like an Irish red ale or an American stout even, then it gives you kind of this place to, but then you can go screw around and do what you want with it. Yeah. All right, guys. So this is another one from Mike, and
I'm
Or
gonna
whoever.
Google all those clues after this and come up with the person.
Yeah.
holy moly, this
Really?
guy's a good brewer. This
This-
guy or girl,
It
I know.
could very well be a guy.
I'm
but
just presuming his name is
who knows?
Mike.
Yeah.
It's probably like Michael Mike Mickelson.
It's
or
not
something.
any
Ooh.
of those
I
things.
really am betting on no until you name a beer Marshall.
So this
Done.
smells like beef bouillon to me.
Okay, I get a beefy thing too.
Beef, like pot
beefy.
roast.
Off the smell, you get a beef. I'm getting a little coffee.
I get beef.
Tim's getting
Show me the beef.
grapes and beef.
Coffee beef.
Meat.
Beef. Meat coffee.
Stop now.
Okay, I definitely get the coffee thing you're talking about. I just said I got beef to try to make your wife feel better about herself.
Tim's got beef.
I'm going to own it because that's what I smelled and I still kind of taste it.
It's what's
Why
for
is that
dinner.
so funny?
It just is.
Beef?
Okay,
Wow.
beef
I don't,
sickles.
there, he's cut off.
So I actually, where's the bottle for this one, Timmy? If you
I don't know.
if you don't mind handing it.
Woo.
Okay, yeah. So I'm
my
curious
God.
what you guys think of that. Flavor wise, no?
Tons of flavor.
It's got a little bitter flavor, but not overwhelming.
Oh, I taste exactly what's in it. Wow.
It's like the top ramen liquid.
So beef broth.
It is beefy.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura.
It is beefy.
That's more coffee to me.
Savory or whatever that
That
is.
was Tim's nickname in high school.
Beefy?
Yeah, you know,
Beefy.
still is.
Yeah,
Beefy.
beef stick.
Beefy coffee. Beefy coffee was his nickname.
Okay, so when I tell you what's in it, I think it'll adjust your
Okay.
perceptions of it. So do you guys know what Knob Creek is?
Yes.
That
No.
It's whiskey.
It's whiskey. Yeah. The whiskey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's.
There's whiskey in this?
So I was in a band.
I remember a
my
Knob Creek
goodness.
story.
Yeah, there is. I'm going to tell
There
it now.
is a Knob
I was
Creek story.
I was in a band many years ago.
Here we go.
With my good friend Tim Abbott, and I know so many Tims. All of my best friends' names
Hey,
are Tims.
Abbott.
Yeah, what up? What up, Meisch? So Tim Abbott, who now I believe he still lives in Oak Harbor now, but we were in this band together, and one time we walk into the Olive Garden, go, high class lunch.
That
We
was
would-
fancy back then.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
would go to the Olive Garden in Bellingham just to get the salad and breadsticks for lunch because it was
I could
cheap.
go for some breadsticks.
I could go for some. That salad is bomb too. And he looks up in the bar and he sees Knob Creek and Tim had this laugh where he would cover his mouth and he would start doing this quiet laugh and you're like, something's going on. And he points to it and he's like, look, man, Knob Creek. And he just thought it was so funny. So every time I see Knob Creek, I think of Tim Abbott, my buddy Tim
You
Abbott.
think of something inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, Knob. Yeah.
Sure.
So this has Knob Creek 9 in it, and I'm not sure what 9 means. Maybe it's a 9 year or something, but
It's no.
yeah. But it's only 4. It's only technically 4.7%. But I wonder.
That's unusual.
But I wonder if that is before he added the Knob Creek,
Well,
because I definitely
Yeah,
taste
how do
the
you add
whiskey,
whiskey
in
to
this.
Yeah.
something and
Have it
only
remain beer?
Be 4%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Plus,
but it's hard to
really-
calculate.
It's intense. Like
Yeah.
it's got.
It tastes like whiskey.
Did you taste whiskey, Tim?
I taste top ramen.
Once he said it,
Thank
I did.
Oh my heavens. Yeah.
It really does taste like beef broth. It's so weird.
I smelled pot
think
roast
beef.
when I smelled it.
Actually, you said beef broth.
Yeah.
No, that's what I get too.
It's
Yeah,
good.
That's
It's a rich beer.
Mike, of all the beers you sent us, that's the
Mike,
one that I
Mike.
probably wouldn't drink too much of. I'll take a
No.
I'll take
I
a rinse
couldn't
on that.
drink that much of that one.
It's making me full just sipping it.
Yeah, and I love whiskey, but
I didn't get that much whiskey-ness to it.
The thing is I don't really like whiskey blended with beer. There's
No.
Oh, really? I feel like that combination swirls in your stomach.
I
a
know
lot.
you'd think, but separately.
Yeah, separate. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, babe. Yeah. I do like drinking whiskey a lot. I'm a Scotch guy. I've never had a beer made with Scotch, though. That'd be interesting.
You should try that.
Ask Mike to make you one.
I am not going to make booze-laced beers.
And Mike will do it.
Mike will do anything. If
Mike
Mike likes it.
Mike likes
He
it.
had no idea he was going to get this much attention on
He
the
or
show.
she.
That was a commercial.
He or she, that's right.
For a cereal, remember?
Yeah,
Mikey
Mikey will
likes
eat.
it.
Mikey,
life
give it to
cereal.
Mikey.
Life cereal.
He'll like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mikey likes it.
Mike.
You're the one who started calling
Yeah.
them
Be-
Mike.
Well, he's the one who wrote. She is the one. Whatever they are, is the one who wrote it on the label. Mike.
Is this the same person near here?
No, this is a new one. This is a new one.
This is
I
Jim
I
Jim.
dropped the.
Jim
this
Jim.
one is made by. Oh, this one comes to us from
Bob Bob.
Vieira, Florida.
Oh.
Monster Menace Brewing. If you want to follow them on Instagram, Monster Menace Brewing. Ryan Keel. I'm not going to tell you what this is, but I cannot wait for you guys to drink it, and then we'll talk about it. Bada bink.
Florida. Is it? I'm going to taste humidity. I just know it.
Hey, we're gonna be there soon.
Oh, yeah.
Soonish. Yeah, next year.
Soon
We're-
enough.
Hey Ryan, I don't know where Vieira's at, but we're all coming out to Orlando in 2023. All four of us actually, with the kids.
We'll leave the
Us
kids
too.
at home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you anything about this. I just want to hear you talk about it because this is a fun one. This is the stuff I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I like the way it smells.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh man, very very fragrant. Holy cow!
Smells like a wheat field.
When was the last time you smelled a wheat field?
Right. He goes frolicking in them all the time.
He actually sleeps nude in them whenever he gets the chance.
See, I smell fruit.
So do I.
Fruit.
But I'm reading it and I smell exactly.
I
what
smell
is in it.
Did I
citrus.
say wheat? I meant fruit.
Wow.
Oh, good God.
He's like, I said weed field.
See, it's really weird because it makes no sense, but to me it smells like caramel corn.
Pineapple.
Ugh.
Maybe
I don't smell
mango.
caramel corn. No.
Pineapple.
I just want to stop drinking it. Actually,
You don't like the flavor?
no.
It's kind of interesting. It's
Citrus.
it's
A lot of
interesting-
citrus to me.
Are you tasting it?
I
Michelle?
taste citrus.
Have you tasted it yet?
I have. It's
There is a weird mixture.
The fact that we're all kind of hesitant to say anything, it's very weird.
Well, it's got like two different profiles, so I feel like it's fruity, but
that's
caramel
what it is.
rich.
It tastes like if you stacked a
Yes.
caramel rice cake with an apple rice cake and ate
Yeah.
them together. to
Yeah.
me. Like a combo
Rice
that
cake?
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Do you taste rice cake in there as
Rice
well?
cake has no flavor. That's her
They're
point.
like interesting. Yeah, like
Okay, I'm going to read to you
I
guys
can't
what this
figure
is.
it out.
yeah.
And so I was expecting for it to be much easier to figure out based on what's in there, and I'll read it to you now. So again, this comes from Ryan Keel. Thank you for sending this beer in. He says, "Thanks for taking a look at my beer. This beer I call Habanberry and
Habanero.
Habanero.
Yeah.
It's a raspberry habanero beer that
Yeah,
uses
yeah.
a blonde ale as a base, but there's no heat. There's
No.
no
There is no heat, but it had that
peppery thing,
peppery. To me.
which actually
No.
goes well with the raspberry in a weird way.
Yeah,
I think.
I didn't
I
get
would
that.
never ever
I'm not.
ever
I'm not,
guess
and
that.
I'm not a fan of the habanero in it. Anything.
So habanero is one of the fruitier peppers that I
Yeah.
eat. Yeah. But I would have expected it to be way hotter than this.
Or, I mean, well, he
Zero.
probably didn't want it to have heat. He just wanted to have the flavor profile of it. But I feel like it got a little lost.
It's confusing. The flavor is confusing to me. I can't
Yeah.
figure it out.
It's very It's almost like those Mexican candies that are like it's like a mango
With tahini.
No, it's like a mango dipped in
Yeah.
tahini or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it
Or
tastes
that
like.
I think that's what I'm saying.
Chamoy.
It's
Chamoy is what it is,
It's a combo I can't
Wrap your head around.
put together
Yeah,
in
I
my
agree.
head.
It's a very interesting. This is what I love about homebrewers.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna drink my whole 4 ounces or whatever, but
Easy.
But it is very weird. It's almost
Yeah.
like disjointed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Correct. That's the best word I could think of too.
Oh,
I inhaled that one.
no boy.
You're supposed to swallow it, not inhale it.
I'll take a rinse. Yeah, that. Excuse me. Jeez, Mendees. Yeah, that is. I definitely taste the habanero, but it's not hot. I just get the peppery flavor from it.
I didn't taste it.
Yeah. It's not hot at all.
Yeah, there's.
didn't get any of that pepperiness.
I didn't either.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
no
saying. It was
heat
like
whatsoever. Yeah, super weird. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Yeah, I think you guys are going to like this one too.
It's a cool bottle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely empty bottle that has a tag on it, but
It's a great looking bottle.
Oh, I thought that was like a lever from the. I didn't see the tag.
Oh. You tell him, Eagle Eye.
you tell me, Eagle Eye. All right. Ooh, I got a whole story on this one that we are just not going to have time to read. But I want to wait for Michelle to get back. She had to go get more water. But this one was made by Peter Michael from East Greenwich or Greenwich? I think it's Greenwich, Rhode Island. I wonder if you have an accent, Peter. Because those are Rhode Islanders, boy. They have an accent. All right, let's crack this thing open. Is Michelle's glass here so we can give her a
Oh yeah.
nice little pour?
Yeah, we just had to get.
Our rinse water.
That's
we ran out of
Roscoe's-
rise water.
That's Roscoe's lemonade jug.
Oh my goodness! Look how pretty that is.
Ooh.
This is one we could spend some time talking about. I think this is going to be fun. I've only had one style like this before, but not exactly this.
It looks a little red. Let's see.
Oh yeah. We got a good sour here.
No label, just a little tag.
I like how Tim thinks it's a sour just based on the fact that it's red, and by red we mean it's pink.
Tim's
It's
the expert
dark
here.
pink.
It's dark pink.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost purple even. Yeah.
You are the expert.
Holy cow! Wait till you smell that.
I
Whoa.
Ooh.
Damn.
That's like raspberry jam.
That is raspberry or it's jelly for sure. It's jam or jelly.
did. With some spice.
Fruit.
Oh, I didn't taste
Did you
it
taste
yet.
it?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like if I'm getting a toast and jam.
Okay, I'm gonna say some stuff here in a minute.
Oh, there's wine. It's wine. It's like wine to me.
It's got a little bit of that red wine kind of
100%.
thing
yeah.
going on. Yeah.
That's a dessert wine.
Definitely a sour though. No, really?
That's a cider.
Oh, ding, ding,
It's a
ding.
berry cider, like a
Are you
raspberry
recording
or what's the other red berry?
I'm getting the tart right
Strawberry
at the
or raspberry or some kind of red berry cider.
end. You're not
No.
getting any tart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ciders are tart.
Ciders are naturally tart.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna actually read everything. This comes from Peter Michael from East Greenwich, Rhode Island.
It's really good.
It's painfully good.
It's too
God,
good.
It's good.
Yeah.
like
I'm totally getting tart from.
Yeah.
you
Yeah, it's
would.
very
You-
tart.
You would.
Ciders are tart.
To the point, almost like a sweet tart. Like you ate a sweet tart. or
Yeah,
something.
that's
No,
what
I
it's
was
like.
going to say almost like a sour.
Like a sour beer, huh? So I'm going to read what Peter wrote here. He says, I was inspired by a friend in my homebrew club. He specializes in cider. At a club meeting, he brought bottles of several ciders he made over a few years. For one of the ciders, he funked it up with some funky yeast. I love funky and sour beer, and I was intrigued by his cider. It was so good that I had to make it myself. Other than my friend's example at the tasting, I didn't have any other plan. This drink is definitely an experiment. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. I just knew that I wanted to get a funky and sour cider. There's
Nailed
more to
it.
this. But real quick, funky is usually like what you called kind of like sweat sock or
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah.
That
It
is
has that.
Or like preteen boy room.
Yeah, but in a weird way, it's
Yeah.
good. And that is preteen boy. That's our son. is
That's
what
our
she's like.
son's bedroom.
Yeah. I reviewed my notes, and here's the gist. I started with fresh pressed local cider. So that's awesome. That is so cool. So he didn't go and do what I do the cheap way out, where you buy the cheapest apple juice you can find on the shelf. He got fresh pressed local cider. Initially, I added some corn sugar that would boost up the how much you can ferment out to give you more booze. Belgian candy sugar, again, same idea. And White Lab's Flemish ale yeast, very popular sour ale yeast strain. The cider had developed a thin pellicle. So that's that gross thing on the top. You imagine what this looks like here,
a
except
skin?
with like a skin with like bubbles and stuff on the top. Yeah. Over a 3-year period, holy cow. At various times, I pulled some bottles from the carboy and added more
3
ingredients.
years?
3 years.
He's a patient fellow.
These ingredients included more fresh cider, apple juice concentrate, Imperial yeast, Suburban Brett yeast, and Imperial's Sour Batch Kids yeast. I even put some of the cider on frozen raspberries. Eventually, I wanted to free up my carboy, so I bottled it. I didn't take gravity readings. I don't know the ABV. I also didn't carbonate it. I didn't have many of the raspberry bottles left, so I sent you 1 bottle of raspberry. Personally, I would have liked more sour character, but I think it's interesting nevertheless.
Nailed it.
I've never had a
amazing.
cider like
It's
this.
very good.
Raspberry.
It is. It
Funky
It is like
raspberry.
a cider had a baby with a sour beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
that funkiness from it is just crazy good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I could definitely drink this.
It's a sour to me.
It's it's the same
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that's the
saying that.
That's the stop saying that. This is funny doing this with our wives. They keep calling us out.
Well,
That's our
Ooh,
job.
Man, it smells good. That could be an air freshener, like a.
air fresh.
Yeah, it
Bottle
smells
is.
really good.
So Brettanomyces. So standard brewer's yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae or Pastorianus.
Wow, say that again really quickly.
Saccharomyces cerevisiae. I know you're making fun. Yeah. Brettanomyces is a wild yeast that gives much more of that funky character. I'm good. Thank you. Gives much more. There's Tim's cat impression. Gives much more of that funky impression. That is just. This has all of it.
Well,
It
the
is
fruit flavoring is very authentic.
This is very
if that
good,
makes
Brett.
sense.
Yeah.
Like it comes through very
It's
much
very
like it's supposed to.
like
be.
fresh raspberry.
Do all
Yeah, I
ciders
agree.
start with apple base?
Cider has to. Yeah.
I start with a C, actually.
And ladies and gentlemen, Tim.
Oh Lordy. Yeah. So there's Perry, which is pear juice, and then cider.
That sounds good.
It's okay.
Oh.
If you like pears, it's okay.
I love
I've had
pears.
a few. I'm not a big fan of Perry, and I like pears. Now, you can take cider and add a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's the same with mead. So mead is honey wine,
Yeah.
and then you can do like a sizer,
Whatever you
or
want,
can do
yeah.
all these things. They have different names depending on what you add to it and whatnot. They even have one. I think it's called a something Glen or whatever. That's like maple syrup with honey that you ferment out. So, well, everybody, we've made it to our final beer.
Woohoo.
Oh my gosh.
And
You
I
did
know,
pretty good.
and this has been a lot of fun. And here's the thing: I'm really hoping this is the right beer. Oftentimes, what happens is people will not label their bottles,
Oh,
but they'll send me the note, and then I try to put them next to each other in a baggie in my fridge. Daniel, this is from Daniel Lott, who's from Anderson, South Carolina. I believe he's a big German brewing fan, beer fan. I believe this is from him. It was right by these bottles. If we screw up, Daniel, I apologize. So the reason I say that, I'm giving a disclaimer, is that if this doesn't taste like what what he's describing, it could be that I grabbed the wrong beer.
We're
I don't
drinking
think I
someone
did.
else's beer,
I'm like, yeah, exactly. But I'm like 95% positive. Not 99, 95% positive this is the right beer. So, Tim, can you give me a little rinse there? What did you guys think of the funky part of that cider?
Loved it.
So that is very common in beers as well. You can go and get funky beers like that aren't necessarily sour, but they have a little funk component to it.
yeah. It's hard for me to understand what you mean by that. Like, it sounds fun, and the beer was good, so I'm going to say thumbs up.
I feel like it's like if you think about like cheese, like you get like cheddar to like feta or something, or something gets funkier, like it's got more
Flavor.
like of a
A
bite.
deeper flavor?
I don't know.
No, that's exactly it.
A bite.
In
Okay.
fact, people use
Well, then
that.
I loved it.
Yeah, people use the same analogy for beer. Is like cheese?
Like
is that
cheese.
comparison. Yeah.
Got it.
And there are people who just cannot tolerate that. In fact, I would say
Yeah, we have friends.
Go ahead.
No, we have friends that can't.
The funky.
That don't like the funky cheeses.
Oh,
Yeah.
she hates it. Yeah, Laura hates it.
My top for funky cheese is not anywhere near where Marshall's is.
Right. Me neither. I love all the cheeses. You already
This
tried it,
is-
Tim?
Yeah, this is one better one.
So I'm almost certain this is the right beer now that I'm smelling it.
So this tastes like what I thought I was going to be drinking 18 of.
Soap.
It's very beer-y.
It's very soapy.
This is the right beer. This is so good.
not.
I love beery beer though. Beer flavored
Right,
beer.
I know, but this is what I went into this expecting to be
Laura and
drinking.
I are not fans.
What are you getting out of it? I think it's so good.
I told you soap.
I'm talking to your husband now. I heard you say soap.
That's a good description, actually.
I do not get soap. This just tastes like beer. Like beery beer.
That's
It
what
kind
I-
of
yeah.
smells funny.
With like
to
a
me.
little mint on the finish. My
Yeah, it
mouth
definitely
is
has
cool.
mint. It
Yeah.
smells funky.
Well, so I'm not sure funky is but
No, it is.
so Daniel says that it's called the Sterling Hoop because he uses sterling hops in it. And I've never used sterling hops, but I think they might have a little bit of a mint character just based on what I'm tasting in this. He says, I'm putting some bottles of my latest Keller beer iteration. So Keller beer just means that it's fresh. So you're not letting it
definitely got the mint.
lager out. Yeah, so in the finish, huh? Mm-hmm. So as you and I have discussed before, Daniel and I have emailed back and forth many times. I learned to brew while living in Bamberg, Germany. Home of Rausch beer, which is smoked beers. They taste like bacon. Yeah. I'm not a fan. A lot of people love those things. Yeah. You've had a few. I'm not a fan. Keller beer is originally from the region around Bamberg, which is called Franconia, Franken in Germany, he says. My favorite beer of all is Voll beer, which is full beer from a brewery on the outskirts of Bamberg in a village called, Königsfeld. Everyone knows this brewery as Hoopendorfer, but the name of the brewery is Brauerei Grasser. They brew several styles, but by far their most popular is the Voll beer. There isn't much difference between a Voll beer and a Keller beer, in my opinion. The locals affectionately refer to this popular Voll beer as Hoopy. The U is short, like in the name Hubble. Oh, Huppy. So it sounds like Huppy. Yeah. I'm really enjoying Sterling hops, so I made this iteration with those, and I named the beer the Sterling Hoop as a play on Hoopy or Huppy. I learned to brew in 2016. Oh, he goes into his whole brewing story, but so yeah, this is definitely the Keller beer that we're drinking right now.
Sure.
So Keller beer again. Normally, you would let a beer like this lager or cold condition for a month or two. Keller beer means you're drinking it fresh.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's been lagering in my fridge for the last month and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you love it, right?
I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sterling hops are really good. I've never brewed with them, but I've had
You've
plenty
tasted.
of. Oh yeah. And that's what I get from this.
Is that a local,
Sterling?
US based?
I think Sterling might be UK. I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do think that they're known for having kind of a minty, very light.
I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, not
It wasn't
my
for
fave.
me though.
No.
very beer flavored beer, which is what you would expect from this.
Yeah.
We were hoping to not experience 15 of those.
I'm
Well, you
shocked that I
didn't.
We did not.
Yeah.
There was quite the variety.
Yes, and thank you, listeners, for all of those
Hey, you guys
varieties.
did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of this one, Tim? A little rough, or
It's a little rougher for me.
it's bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It kinda-
bitter, but in a different way. It's
It
not a
smelled
bitter
funny,
IPA.
and as plugged up as I am, but I didn't. It's not me.
It is bitter, but I like that. I've always liked the more bitter. I drink my coffee mostly black.
Yeah.
I kind of like bitter stuff. I feel like it balances really well. And that one, I could drink that all day. That's like top 3 of my favorite we drink all day. Do you guys? I'm not a big fan of playing favorites, but do you guys have a memorable or more favorite thing that we drank today? That was our last beer.
Yeah.
And so
What do you think, Laura?
I really liked the very first one.
Me too.
And then that one that really surprised me at how much I liked it was that coffee creamer one.
Ooh.
oh yeah,
That's one that I had today that I would never think that's the one that surprised me. That first one is like what I already know I kind of like.
I like that berry crunch.
Yeah, that was good too. I know. So you're talking about the petite pastry style from the guys from Oakland. That's Jamie
that
and
one
John.
surprised me. Any beer that looks like that, I usually know I don't like already.
Yeah, it was really good. It was. I've kind of made fun of pastry stout a little bit or dessert stouts. That was very well done. Yeah, that was the one with the coconut and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think Mike might have
I was
been
going
my
to say
favorite.
one of Mike's. I don't remember which one.
The funky sour.
Yeah, that funky
cider.
sour
yeah, I
one.
forgot about that one.
The one where you're like, it's a sour. And that was really
The
good.
cider.
That was good.
That was 2 beers ago.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was
a lot.
delicious. Yeah. Well, that is all the beers that we've got. I can't believe we made it through. I think it was 16. I may
Wow.
be counting wrong. Might have been 17, might have been 15. But that is everything that we've had sitting in my fridge. We are going to do this, and you ladies are more than welcome to join us whenever we do this. But we're going to do this probably once every month and a half or so. There'll probably be less beers in the future. We've already taken this thing out almost 2 hours at this point.
Wow.
We usually yeah, exactly. But we were trying to figure our stuff out. I'm so glad, first off, that all of you listeners out there were so willing to send us your beers. That is massively appreciated. But also that none of them went bad. They were, whenever you guys ship us beers, we throw them in the fridge immediately and we leave them there undisturbed. And so it worked out. Even the one that I was worried about, that American red ale, survived. It survived, and it was actually quite delicious in my opinion. So that was another one that's probably in my top 5 of today. But every one of those beers, nothing was wrong with them. There was nothing flawed with any of them. Mm-mm. And your guys' experimental, creative genius is just so awesome to me. I think it's so fun.
Cool.
It's really cool that you guys are doing such crazy things with these beers. If you've got crazy stuff, send it to us. All you have to do is reach out to me, Marshall@Brülosophy.com. I'll hook you up with my address. You can send it to me and we'll get you, we'll talk about it on the show.
Do a shout out to Jersey Bird.
Jersey Bird, we love you,
miss
Jersey.
you, buddy.
Yeah, I know. We miss you. I think everybody misses Jersey. So, well, if you, again, excuse me, if you'd like to have your beer featured on a show like this, again, just reach out to me, Marshall@Brülosophy.com, and we'll get you all set up. You guys have fun today?
I had
Heck
a lot of
yeah,
fun.
it was cool.
More fun than
surprising.
I thought.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not bad, right?
No.
It's kind of, I mean,
It was fun.
For us, we're just sitting in our place where we sit all the time and drinking beer, but this will go out and 400 people will listen to it. So.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
Real quick, okay, we're a couple days out from actually reviewing all of those beers, but I did a little poking around in my email and I found out who it was that sent me or gave me the Mike beer, the MILB 9 4.7 and the GP Pills. It was somebody whose beer we reviewed in this show already, Brad Jennings from Clovis, California. Brad, thank you. Your beers were awesome. I just wanted to make sure you got credit for that. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the Brew Lab, where host Cade Job takes you into the lab with brewing professionals to discuss the important and fascinating work they've done on our favorite beverage. And make sure to follow everything we're up to at Brülosophy.com. The Brülosophy Podcast is made possible by the generous support of our sponsors as well as all of our rad listeners. We seriously could not do this without you. Cheers to everyone who has subscribed and left a review of our show. It makes a huge difference. If you haven't yet, please consider doing so. Head over to Brülosophy.com/support to view a list of ways you can easily help us to continue producing this podcast. If you want a reward for your support, visit Patreon.com/Brülosophy. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Brülosophy Podcast. Until then, think beer.
Start off the morning with some hot tea, lemon and honey, cause it suits my throat. Put some herb in the bowl, yeah, it's homegrown. Ain't gotta go through the middleman, no.